your mind tonight, pulling your hair, baby. I feel you breathing on me, on you. You know that I'm a selfish lover. When it's mine, I want it. One track mind for it, for you. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Party's never over for me. My favorite Toy Story. Bo Peep is chasing me. Woody, let me be a fantasy. Swiss Army King, they call me. Come find the key, baby, baby. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it. Do it, I'll do it. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Please love me. Oh, I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it.
Never understand the things that we want. Why do you keep coming back? I want love you don't know. So why are you here? Yeah, I should take it back so that you don't know where my heart is at. Don't want you to know my love is lost. Well, there's only one thing left to do. My heart is breaking, wanting you So I'll say goodbye. Let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say goodbye. Yeah, don't call me back, just say goodbye. I can change the past, don't wanna complicate things. Maybe if I asked, was any of it real? Was it real? There's only one thing left to do. My heart is breaking on you, so I'll say goodbye. Let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say goodbye. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say goodbye. There's only one thing, let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say goodbye. Yeah, I'll say goodbye. Don't call me back, just say goodbye. Let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say goodbye. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say goodbye. You know it's creeping up on me. This frostbite gets deep into my bloodstream. Just trying to make the most of it. Babe, I miss your body. You make some kind of fire within me. It's almost like it's burning through my skin. Make myself feel warmer when you're near. Whenever you're near, come close. 'Cause I wanna be by your side. Wanna be by your side. Come close. Get under my skin. Give me a piece of your mind. Just for a while. Stay by my side. I'm hoping for some brighter days. 'Cause I'm falling in the snow, it's getting knee deep. You make some kind of fire within me. It's almost like it's burning through my skin. Make myself feel warmer when you're near. Whenever you're near, come close. 'Cause I wanna be by your side. Wanna be by your side. Come close. Get under my skin. Give me a piece of your mind. Just for a while. Stay by my side. November gets cold. December gets darker. Let me know when you're home. 'Cause you're lighting a spark in me. It's pretty lonely. I get so lonely. So stay by my side. Come on close. 'Cause I wanna be by your side. Wanna be by your side. Come close. Get under my skin. Give me a piece of your mind. Just for a while. Stay by my side. Side. Wanna be by your side. Close. Just for a while. Stay by my side. chillin'. Day and night for days on end. Now you can't come see me tonight. Say you ain't got the time. I'm the last one you prioritize. Peeping your IG pictures on my phone. I won't spend another night at home. Okay, I'ma just be on my way. You'll see I'm not the one you take for granted, babe. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? Baby, so can you take me on a date? The simple things you do to make me stay. Now it's like you don't even try. I used to wonder why, but now I'm left with no more tears to cry. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? If you want me the way I want you, put your all into all that you do. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know?
Say that you will change the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you wear your hair. Change the way you dress, the way you kiss, everything, 'cause you are scared that I might leave you. Well, why should I leave you? Baby, please don't talk to me that way. 'Cause I think you're perfect for me, just the way you are. And I don't ever want to leave you. Baby, don't you talk to me that way. And I'm sorry if I sound a little harsh, but I don't know how to get through to you. Because you don't seem to know that you are everything a girl could dream of. Baby, won't you hear me? Don't talk to me that way.
I say, don't talk to me that way. 'Cause I think you're perfect for me, just the way you are. And I don't ever want to leave you. Baby, don't you talk to me that way. Just pulled up to the house, don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back and crack this window. I've been doing my best, taking a moment to rest, feeling stressed out. Give it a cut, I put that on God when it gets hard. I stay on my job like no days off, so you can go home. With that jump on jealousy, my bad. 'Cause I've been working all day. Can I catch a break? Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter, I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey, already got the world on me. Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter, I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey, better way. Oh, Mom and Dad's only daughter, do I make you proud? Writing my life in lyrics, do you like the sound? Seeking approval constantly. When it's my truth I own, I speak it, don't make sense now. Give it a cut, yeah. Put that on good when it gets hard. I stay on my job like no days off, so you can go home. With that jump on my back. 'Cause I've been working all day. Can I catch a break? Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter, I'ma make a better way. 'Cause I've been working all day. Can I catch a break? Give a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter, I'ma make a better way. Hey,
All right, hot mics. Hot mics.
You can keep going. I'ma make a better way. Catch a break. Better way.
We all gotta be some good days. Telling me, gave them folks a good hour of my time.
All right.
Right.
We'd like to, good evening, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of AK on Fire. We're going to have a pretty good one for you tonight. First, let me introduce the panel. He's the one and only Rico the Plug.
Hey.
Next to him is not the fruit doctor, not the apple doctor. She is the peach doctor, the one and only peach doctor.
What up? Haters everywhere. The haters are everywhere, man.
Next to the peach doc, he is the one and only. He's the lovable asshole. He is Mr. Aggressive, Mr. Alpha Man Ray himself. We have one half of the Light Finders, the ever lovely Q Barnes. He's one of a kind. He's Sweet Jones, and afterwards she is a super soldier. She's everybody's soldier. She is Hanifa Laila. All right, so
Yes, indeed.
So we had
Noose.
the
Noose.
Yeah, noose.
Okay.
Namer of the noose.
I think I don't know. She's kind of digitalized. Hanifa, are you? Can you wave to me and let me know you're all right? You're kind of pixelated. Are you good? Okay. So if
can you guys hear me? I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, it seems like I'm freezing up. I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. You're good.
Okay, I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah, just text me and let me know. Okay. So a few weeks ago we had the first installment of the Gender War series. We had the brothers take questions from the sisters, and some of the questions were quite pointed. They were quite adversarial, to say the least, but it generated, let's just say, a pretty interesting conversation. A couple of weeks later, the sisters followed up with their own, and tonight, the brothers and sisters are going to meet face to face, and we're going to resolve some of these issues. So let's start with the beginning. We're going to start with the name in the lower third. This is the final installment of the Gender Wars series. The recrimination must end. A lot of the finger pointing is going to have to stop. And can we all just get along? Hopefully we'll get to that point where we can all get along. So let's start with submission. That was a pretty interesting topic that we had. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Sorry. So, okay. So we had we pulled up last week, well, the other week when I spoke with the sisters. Sorry, I had to pull Hanifa. So I'm just pulling it right there. Okay. So I asked the sisters, I said, well, why is it that when brothers talk about being submissive, this is the images that come in mind? And even though brothers are not really asking for our sisters to bring food to us on their knees, we are asking for a little bit of, brothers are asking for a little bit of cooperation. And so I want to start with you, Sweet Jones. Okay, because Because my question is, how is it that whenever you ask a sister, sisters, if they can be submissive, they say yes. But one of the largest complaints that brothers have is that black women refuse to be submissive. Now, when I posed this question to the sisters last week, to an individual, all the sisters said, you know what? Yes, I have no problem with being submissive. So, Sweet Jones, my question to you is, are the sisters being disingenuous when they say they have no problem being submissive? And before you answer that, I want to explain how the format is tonight. Since the brothers didn't get a chance to respond to some of the sisters' comments, they'll be responding to some of your video clips tonight, and then we'll have a free-flowing exchange. So sisters, feel free to ask questions or jump in after the brother makes a point. Okay, so Sweet Jones, go ahead and answer that. Are the sisters being disingenuous when they say they have no problem being submissive?
Yes, sir. There's a lot of them being disingenuous when it comes to this topic. I think this goes back to the 90s. You know what I'm saying? When all this women's empowerment stuff really just started to pick up, and all the you go girls and we don't want no scrubs and all that old stuff that was starting to generate back then in the 90s, man. I just think it took on a life of its own, man. It's a lot of women out here, and I have to say a lot because it ain't all. It's a lot of them out here, man. They so big on being their own boss. They don't need a man for this. They don't need a man for that,
Yeah.
They fearlessly, the Beyonce made the song "Me, Myself, and I" just for them. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole lot of that going on out here. So I'm not here to say all women are like that, but I do think in this day and age, this day and time, it's a whole lot of women out here who they only want a man when it's convenient for them. They only want a man on their terms, and they only want to do for a man when it benefits them or when they can see something in return for it. That's what I believe.
That's a heavy charge. Before I go on to the next brother, I want to give the sisters an opportunity to respond to our brother, Sweet Jones. Go ahead. I don't want to point anybody. Anybody can take the floor. If not, I'm going to move on to Rico.
I have some questions.
Sure. Go ahead, Q.
The first question, and I guess this would be for you, A, because I've heard you say it last week. And you said it again this week. Mm-hmm. When you showed this image, you said that this is the image that we women, this is the image that comes to our mind. Mm-hmm. So I am curious as to what woman, because that's certainly not the image that comes to my mind when I think of submission. I was clear last week that I have no problem being submissive in the right circumstances, in the right situations. So I'm curious to know as to why you all believe that when we hear the word submissive, this is what we think. And I also want to know is why do you outright, well, Sweet just kind of answered it when he said that he doesn't believe that all women refuse. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious to know when someone refuses, what is the example? Because what I just heard Sweet say, he quoted Beyonce's "Me, Myself, and I." He said that we are disingenuous. Those songs that he referenced are empowerment songs, and you referenced the empowerment movement. Empowerment is not the absence of being able to be submissive. I am a powerful woman. I am empowered to go after my goals and my dreams and make them happen, but I will be submissive to my man in the right form. Ooh, please let me submit to you in the bedroom. Please let me submit to you when it comes to dealing with our sons, because I can't teach them to be a man. Please let me submit to you because I don't know when the oil needs to be changed on this car. So I'm just curious.
I think our brother in the chat said it well. Let me see if I can pull him up. Arshawn Dave said that it's because so many brothers have heard it being equated to slavery, and I think most of the brothers will agree that that's how they present it. When you're talking about being submissive, they almost act as though you're trying to enslave them. You
can't tell me what to do. You're not my daddy.
Right.
You ain't the boss of me.
Right.
We've all heard the same thing. We've all heard it.
Right. Hey,
who are you?
Excuse me, Hanifa. Before I go on, did you have anything that you want to add? I want you guys to feel free to chime in. This is a more free flowing conversation. It doesn't have to be as structured as normal. So feel free to chime in whenever. I'm going to go over to Rico and ask you, because in the show that we did a few weeks ago, you said that an unsubmissive woman or a woman who's very opinionated, being with a woman like that is like being in a car that has 2 steering wheels. And when you're trying to drive on the right path, she just all of a sudden, for no reason, just takes over the wheel and steers you all off the cliff. Right now, in a situation like that, how can that be the case if most women are submissive? Rico.
Well, brother, it cannot. I would really like to touch on what Miss Q Barnes just said, because I believe she gave a perfect example of how women think they are submissive when in fact they are not. I believe she gave 3. Oh, please allow me to be submissive in the bedroom. That sounds to me like an opportunity to lay back and let the man do all the work.
No, that's not what I mean. That's what it sounded like. That's your interpretation.
Ma'am, I'm just letting you know what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Please be the man when it comes to raising son, because I don't know how to teach him to be a man. But in fact, teaching him to be a man would be teaching him how to head up a household. But if he's not the head of the household, he can't show his son how to be the head of the household. And please be the man as pertains to when my oil needs to be changed. I don't think a lot of women realize what you're offering a man is a position to be your slave and your servant, your little indentured servant, and you paint it as, oh, I'm submissive in these select moments.
That sounds like someone who has a very insecure mind. I'm just gonna call it 100 because I was just pulling quick examples, right?
But I just used your examples.
Yeah, you did, right? But there's context missing. I cannot teach a man how to be a man. I have 4 sons, right? And you're right. In order for him to be a man, my sons to grow up as men, they need to see how their father operates in our household and how he runs as the head of our household and how he navigates, right? So when I say I submit, I mean when he deals with them directly as his sons. I make sure I don't do the mommy thing that mommies like to do when they don't know how to submit and let fathers raise their sons. Conversely, when it comes to our daughters and it's time to rear them in womanhood and, they're going through their cycles and things like that, he's going to submit to my knowledge because he ain't never had a menstrual flow. That's why I said this sounds like someone who doesn't understand what submission is. You need to.
Well, that's what I'm saying about you.
No, you're saying that.
I don't think you understand.
That I'm offering an opportunity, and in reality, when 2 people come together, they both come together with their knowledge to bring a household. I don't know the things that my husband knows, right? As far as and he's going to teach me things, and I'm going to submit to learning things, and I'm going to teach him things, and he's going to submit to learning those things too. Submission is an exchange of energy. I'm learning from you. You are learning from me. We are doing this thing together. It is not one-sided. So if you're having someone who doesn't understand submission, then you get these things you're saying like, it's slavery.
Okay. I don't want to fill the airspace with breaking down what submission is. I think everybody understands what submission is.
Obviously, we don't understand because, and I say that there's an obvious difference in understanding of what you consider to be submissive versus what a woman considers to be submissive. And by the way, who defines submissive?
A dictionary.
As a man, do you as the man get to define what it means to be submissive?
In fact, I believe
who defines it?
The dictionary.
Webster.
Yeah. And what does it say?
Okay. Let's
literally, what does it say?
If we're having a conversation about this, you need to know what it is. So what does it say? That's a very good question. Because if we have two different meanings, then we're going to always have a conversation that clashes. And if the object is to stop the war, let's see what the meaning of the word is so that we can both understand it and see where we are.
Okay, well, let's how about we don't do that? How about we...
Now you don't want to do that because it's important to do that. Everybody can come to an understanding and a mutual understanding of what it really means. Because I think what it means from what I gather from what you're saying, is that we use it and we almost like it's weaponized to men when we want to, because you said it's kind of like when it's convenient for us, when we want to be submissive, right?
Let me ask you a question.
It goes back to how is that being defined for you?
Let me ask you a question. Is it important that you trip me up, or is it important that we come to an agreement?
No.
Because it's
important that we get to the facts. That's what.
Okay. And the fact is that as far as communication between the sexes go, we have a very difficult time finding common ground, because I believe that some people focus on tripping other people up with trivial things as opposed to focusing on the problem. So we can just throw out the exact definition of submission and just look at it like this. The other party, the man or the woman, determines what is acceptable in regards to submission. So, and just like women will determine what is acceptable in regards to provision, right? Because you want a man to provide. You're going to determine what is acceptable in regards to provision. And in exchange for that provision and that protection, that you are going to determine whether or not I'm providing enough of those things, I should be able to determine what is enough or acceptable in regards to submission.
Okay.
So,
and then you roll your eyes, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead, and I want to bring Ray in here real quick. Go ahead, finish your point. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Okay. So again, I agree with you on it should be, we as a couple, we're defining what that means. I agree with you on that, right? Because I think what has happened is, as in the eyes of man, is that it's all the woman is supposed to submit. So you want to use the Bible verse when it's appropriate, when you feel like it, but we'll go by the definition. I simply asked, what was the definition of submission? Because not one definition that I read does it state anything about a woman being submissive to a man. That's not what it says. So when we're talking about submission, if I can finish.
Okay.
When we're talking about submission, I think it's important that you and your partner, whoever you're with, y'all define what that means, what that truly means for the two of you. Because what it means for me and mine, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's that for you and yours. Right, Ray?
Ray, can you hear? Hey, Ray, I see it's getting a little spicy. It's getting a little spicy.
I have a question for the ladies on the panel.
Okay.
I would like
Jay, so go ahead. Ask your question, and then I have a question for you. So go ahead.
Of the races and the ethnicities of women all across the world, America and other countries, how come Black women are the only groups that you have to literally define the word of submission? Explain to me how come Black women are the only group that if you just say the word submission, that it turns into a peach doctor. Explain to me why that is. I want to no. I need an honest answer because I've never gotten the answer to this question. Because it's easy. Every man on this panel, and I'm sure every black man in America, and I specify America, is very careful with what they say about submission, because we all hear a black woman in the back of our mind getting upset and turning into an argumentative black woman. Explain to me why that is.
So I think you are taking it to a place of history, because historically it's been in a family. It's like, woman, you're going to do what I say. Woman, you're going to bow to me. Woman, you're going to, it was not treated with, submission was not viewed as a sign necessarily of respect, and how it was given, how black men treated their partners, their women, their wives, or whatever you want to call it. That wasn't the case. So it became to be an abusive type of situation, not in a loving type of situation.
Says who?
There's a difference.
Says who?
She's answering your question.
You asked me.
You asked her why. She's giving you the answer to why.
Where are you getting this from? Yes, that's what I'm. Is this the color purple? The color purple. I knew it.
That's a perfect example.
I knew it.
That's a horrible example.
It's a perfect example of why you get those responses. We're not saying that all women think that way, but you asked a question as to why in America, right? Well, in America, historically, and the color purple has some, it's a story that it historically, and I'm sorry, Dr. Peach, I'm give the mic back, but that really actually happened. That is the history of the history of a black woman, in America. Are you kidding me? My grandmother was married off at 13.
Okay, all right, yeah.
We're not gonna play that game.
Home.
My grandmother was married off at 13 and didn't get past the 6th grade education because of submission. So,
who married her off?
Wait a minute. I see. I'm trying to get down to answers to some questions.
That's the answer to the question, because of the historical. Because for women, the historical.
I have several things to say to these things.
Can I address one more thing? So what I said was, it became an abusive thing. It doesn't come from a place of love when you're asking or wanting someone to be submissive, a woman to be submissive.
How do you know where it's coming from?
It becomes like, oh, if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I know I'm not lying. And y'all gonna sit here on this panel and try to pretend like you don't know what you're talking about, because you got those same
she knew where it was coming from. She's answering the question.
In your family that have done that to people in your family. So we're not going to sit on this panel and act like we don't know any better. And what I'm saying is a bunch of bull, because it's not.
Okay, so I don't know what you're saying to me.
You're saying that if a man provides for a woman, he's going to automatically beat her up?
Did you hear me say that? That's not what you heard me say, but next. Keep going.
I'm asking you, is that what
you didn't hear me say that? You didn't hear me say that.
I got a quick question for Ray, and then I got to try to get Hanifah back on. Ray,
hey Hanifah.
Ray, what do you think it is about brothers that makes it easy for other races of women to submit to black men, except the women we love the most, which is black women? I want you to answer that question, and I want you to share your peach cobbler story.
Please
answer that question.
Oh my God.
And share your peach cobbler.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I like to say that this is why guys like Tyler Perry and movies like The Color Purple are so dangerous to us.
I literally cannot.
She literally took a movie.
I did not.
1980. I didn't say no name. I didn't say no name. A hit dog or holler. I didn't say no name.
Well,
a hit dog or holler.
I'm not a hit dog.
I didn't say one name. I didn't even say one name.
I
said she.
But you said she, right? But
I didn't say no.
I did.
You ain't even let me.
But whether I gave you vision or not, it was right along lines with what she said, because historically it has been abusive. It became abusive.
How old are you?
That man has interrupted y'all one time.
Not one single time. Not one time. Do you see that? I ain't even finished one sentence. This is why I believe that movies like Color Purple and producers like Tyler Perry are so dangerous because our women literally take whatever movie, fiction or nonfiction, and they apply this to life. This is life to her. She said the color purple. Are you kidding? You have applied life to the color purple. And listen, I've been alive 41 years. I have not seen consistently a lot of times men just going around beating women up for nothing. I have not seen it. Somehow, all the women, all the black women have seen this happen all the time. I have not seen this happen. It's just, this tells me how dangerous that type of stuff is because our women, they don't take what actually happens. They take something like The Color Purple, a made up movie by a white man, and apply that to real life. That's just, you can't argue reality when something like that happens. It's like, what do? It's like you making up a story.
Purple. Yeah. Alice Walker wrote The Color Purple.
Well, I mean, that's not much better. Alice Walker was also.
That's the point you wanted to make.
I'm just saying. He said, wait, I'm just saying it wasn't Steven Spielberg. I'm just pointing out that Alice Walker. I'm just for the sake of being correct. Alice Walker.
In fairness, Q, if it had been Steven Spielberg who wrote it instead of Alice Walker.
It doesn't matter. He said by a white man. It wasn't written by him. That's all I'm saying.
Just let him. Well, you're right. Okay, my bad. You didn't take fiction from a white man. You took it from Alice Walker. That's better. That's what I meant to say. I didn't mean to say it incorrectly because if I'd have said the wrong person, it doesn't make it true. I'm sorry. I don't know. You started just to say that.
I want you to go ahead and share your story because you haven't gotten a chance to answer the question. I know it's a little bit fiery. Okay. We've been itching to get at each other, and but I want you to share your story, and then after you share your story, answer the question, what do you think it is about brothers that makes it easy for all races of women to be submissive to black men, except the women that we love the most, which is black women? Please share your peach cobbler story. And then after that, I want to bring Hanifah in. Go ahead, Ray.
My mom came to visit here several months ago. I don't know how many months exactly, but she came to visit several months ago. And she pretty much just popped up. So it was company here. And she wasn't expecting this. I've been a bachelor for a very, very long time. She says automatically assumes nobody will be here because of just how I live. This time it was company when she popped up. All right. And it was of the fairer skinned company. Okay. Now, my mom is I ain't submitting. I ain't no slave. She's all those things. She was probably the first generation that started this mess. She is just like that, right? 63-year-old woman. She's going to struggle for the rest of her life because of just how she came to visit and she was surprised. Well, blah, blah, blah. I ended up telling my company, I'm hungry. I just said, I'm hungry. I didn't have to say I'm hungry. And I didn't have to cuss. I didn't have to fuss. I didn't have to whoop nobody color purple. It wasn't no color purple ain't going on. I just said, I'm hungry. Guess what happened? She got up, went to the grocery store, purchased fresh product, put together a home-cooked delicious meal, put it on a plate, brought it to me, sat there and waited till I finished eating it, took the plate back to the kitchen and wet a wash rag, came and wiped my hand while I sat there. Brought me peach cobbler, I ate it, cleaned up everything. I ain't moved out my spot. I was looking at the Astros game. My mama said, that was disgusting. That's what my mama said. That was disgusting.
Right. And so
now this is a woman, I love her, but unfortunately she is a victim of what she's been taught, and she's gonna pay the price for it later on because she's 63. She's not going to be able to maintain a man because this is what she's been taught. And she taught my sister this. And my sister will teach her daughter that. And the line is going to go on. This is just going to continue to split us up more and more and more because there's nothing more comforting than a woman that would do something like that to a man. There's nothing more calming than a woman that will do something like that to a man. And you know what? At the end of the day, those are the women that will die with a man.
That's so sweet.
We see how sweet you are in about 30 more years.
Oh, okay. And I want to bring Hanifa in. Hanifa, I don't know how much. I know you were in and out. I don't know how much you heard, but I want you to share your thoughts with the panel.
You want my thoughts and submission?
Right. I mean, because I thought, honestly, I thought all of you had pretty good answers when it came to submission. And so part of what I was saying was that, everyone, when you ask most sisters, they seem to have no problem with submission. But yet one of the biggest complaints that brothers have is a problem with submission, especially by those who look like us. Right. And so Ray was sharing his peach cobbler story of someone who was other than us, and he received more submission from them than he would, one of our sisters. Right. And so you didn't get a chance to speak. So I wanted to bring you in. If this is an issue you want to pass on, we can go on. I'll open up to the rest of the panel before we go on to the next segment.
Yeah, I think like on the last panel, I think I expressed my feelings around submission. It's not a conversation that I tend to really engage in. I think it's, I think when two people have mutual respect for each other and trust for each other, submission is not even a conversation that needs to be tabled. I think it kind of naturally flows. I think that this is such a hot topic within the Black collective right now is because we don't like each other. We don't trust each other. There's a lot of that, and there's some historical context. I think when we extract it from its historical context, then all we do is pick and choose what we want that feeds our narrative, and we got to be careful with that. But to answer Ray's question, as far as why are we the only culture? I mean, you have to consider the history of a culture. If you go to certain cultures, there will be certain behaviors that you see within those cultures, and you might compare it to, let's say, just American or Western culture. And you may ask the question, like, what kind of weird shit is this, And when you hear the history of that culture, then you're able to put it in its proper context and understand it better. For the Black collective, for us, our relationships with each other is just really damaged. And I think it's because our relationships with ourselves is really damaged. I think there's a lot of lack of self-love within women, Black women and Black men. And Ray, a lot of it is inherited. Just in your story, a lot of it is inherited. Mothers and grandmothers pass that down just like their favorite recipe. The whispers in the airs, you go get yourself something, you don't depend on any man. That comes from somewhere. But nonetheless, it is inherited. Whether it is inherited directly by actual someone saying it to you or just inherited through observation, because we all understand how biology works in connection with our environment and how that works on a cellular level. We are constantly taking in information, and our cells are constantly adjusting themselves to that environment, and eventually we become what we consume or what we partake in. So that is a big part of what we're seeing in the Black collective. I'm more interested in how we fix it, because it is a reality. Now, we could sit and talk about it all day and try to decide whose fault it's for. We can do that all day. I mean, yes, but I'm more interested in how do we fix this. I think that submission is way, way, way at the bottom of the priority list for us. And I'm just being honest. I think if we get some other things in place and we work on some other things, I think the submission piece will naturally come to fruition. You cannot have submission in our community with us without trust.
Yeah,
it will never happen.
I think you can also never have submission without humility. I think there's a certain amount of humility that you need to have to be submissive, right? And I think we also have to. I know that some people are opposed to gender roles, but you have to understand that relationships and marriages are a dance, right? Both people can't lead. When we're dancing, one has to lead and one has to follow, right? It's almost similar to the story that Rico had. Man, two people can't drive. You know, if I'm trying to turn left and you trying to turn right, you gonna kill us in traffic, right?
If two people can't lead at the same time. This is the issue I have with the submission conversation and this idea of there's only one leader. That's a load that I think is really, it's delusional to think that any man or any woman comes fully equipped to cover every single thing in a relationship. It is ridiculous. And I'm sorry, because that's why I don't engage in the conversation, because I think it's really adolescent to think that way. The correct way would be, okay, I'm a man, I'm stronger. This is what I do, whatever that is. Or I might be smarter, or I might have not more knowledge in this area. But there may come a time where you might have to take a back seat for your woman to step up, because she might just be more equipped in that area. That is relationships. Relationships is harmonious. It's supposed to be harmonious. It's supposed to be a dance. It's supposed to be your turn, my turn, our turn, not, oh, you're a guy, you need to do this. And I think that's a lot of pressure that I feel, this is just my opinion, I think it's pressure that a lot of men can't handle. I think that's why they're dying earlier than us. Like, there's so many things that I could say a lot on this, but like I said, find someone that's in alignment with you, and this is never a conversation. Because you guys will love each other, you guys will respect each other, and your relationship, if you have those two things, that respect, that mutual respect, and that love and appreciation for each other, it flows. It's just going to flow. And my last thing, Abe, to what you said with humility, yes, it takes humility to submit, and it takes humility to request submission. Because there's a lot of brothers out here on their pedestal about submission that they are not even ready for what real submission really look like. Because submission comes with great responsibility. Someone saying to you, I am dependent on your vision. I am dependent on your purpose, your ability to produce, right? 24/7 all the time. A lot of people, a lot of men cannot handle that because they were not raised to function in that capacity. So we can't just talk about one side, which is how the women are raised. Are our men being raised equipped for what they are requesting? That's a whole other part of the conversation as well. I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
Can
I see. So let me see. I think you guys you wanna continue with this topic. So I know sweet Rico Q and Peach Doctor. Go ahead. Let's make this one a little bit shorter because we have to get to weave as a protective style next.
Yeah, so I'm sure we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, but I just got what I feel is a yes or no question for Hanifah. The original, basis of this question, you presented a picture for us all to see. I'm not sure if Hanifah saw it or not, but my question to her is, do you think a majority of women today, when they hear submission, that's what they see? When they hear a black man say, I need you to submit, I want you to submit, do you think most black women today, and if you don't want to answer, that's cool. But
yeah. I mean,
do you think they see that or not? Do they see red?
The image that he showed with the lady kneeling?
Yeah. Do you think they think we're coming at them like, get on your knees and serve us our plate and wash our hands when you're done eating? Do you think a lot of them see that when they hear the word submission and submit?
I can't really say. I really can't.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't say. But
Okay.
I do think that most women, and if we're talking about black women, because they have no point of reference or they have no healthy point of reference, let me just put that there too. They just, it's like, if you don't have any point of reference, it's left up to your imagination. And with all the propaganda that's out there as far as black men, I mean, you take your pick. You know what I'm saying? What image is going to come to my mind if I have no healthy point of reference? It's not going to be the healthiest. So I can see how that image can be evoked when they hear the word submission. So I can't say majority do, I really can't say that. But I do know it's a subservient kind of thing. You're over me, in charge, you know, because I've been in enough conversations. That's definitely what comes to a lot of women mind.
That's
and
what I'm
have a
asking.
difficult time with it. Yes.
That's what I'm asking.
But you know, in the 60s, I tell this story all the time. The snowball effect started when the war on welfare started, when they gave all women the option to take the government aid minus a man, even sending government agents to the houses of these women to make sure that there was no evidence of a man, or keep the man and don't get government assistance. Our sisters picked the government assistance, put the man out. So once that happened, then a snowball effect took place, when women start getting rid of their men and taking the free money. And once you do that, now you have single women raising children, teaching them single women values.
But that's
minus
not
a man.
that's not where this
That
came
is a
from,
huge.
right?
No, but if you look at the 60s and before, the marriage. Wait a minute, slow down. The marriage rate between black men and black women was incredibly high. Nobody got divorced.
That's because
everybody had
black women
10. You listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm saying. Before that, you did not have divorce. You had everybody has great grandparents that had 12 children.
Where's
Before
the
that,
black woman forced to get married at
okay.
13 and has 17 kids gonna go
Okay.
in America? You gonna have to stop talking like that in front of me, because I'm not gonna be able to get down with it. And I was next anyway. So can I go?
No.
You've been going the whole time. You might well go too.
I think it was on Rico. It was Rico, Q, then
Okay,
Peaches.
well, let me know when it's my go again. I'll wait.
Okay.
It's your go now. You might well go now.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're not the moderator.
Here's the thing. Let's tighten this up, because we haven't gotten past the one topic. So Rico, but it seems like you guys are you folks are very passionate about this. So we'll go ahead and continue on. Rico, go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
Okay. I really don't even like the word submission, but I do like the word cooperation. And I would like to say that in my experience, and from what I hear from the men's section, is the spirit of cooperation from our sisters is very low. You know, and I want to touch back on, like, you know, things like the color purple and all that stuff, right? I want to touch on that, because I just want to make it clear. Black women were not the only people struggling during that era. For a black man to go out and, if we're going to use that example, it had to be very difficult for Danny Glover's character to purchase and own a farm and a house during that time. And if you look at the men during that time, if you understand the type of abuse and belittlement and the shame they had to endure to be able to provide for their families, you really wouldn't have a real big case for talking about the type of abuse that women endured, which I don't think that a woman should endure abuse. I'm just saying we've shouldered abuse so much that we don't even really complain about it. We get abused all the time. And we shoulder it, we don't complain about it. I watched many granddads come home. My granddad fought in 2 wars. And my grandma, she was one of my favorite people, but my granddad fought in 2 wars. But when he walked in to my grandmother's house, he didn't have really too much to say. Grandma was running that house. And I know a lot of men who suffered in silence at home. I saw it. We learned it. So, you know, we saw some things like granddad had his favorite chair, little tokens, right? Look, granddad had a chair, grandma had the house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, let's not sit there and act like granddad was coming home smacking on grandma. I mean, I'll tell you, my grandmother said my grandfather hit her one time. He hit her one time. I'm not gonna, so, you know, but she chuckled about that because it didn't work out. It didn't work out for him. You know, I think everybody's experienced abuse. I think we need to take that off the table. We need to take the cheating off the table. Whole lot of dudes came home to kids that weren't theirs. So like men and women cheated. Submission, we could take that off the table too. Let's just look at cooperation. If we're not being cooperated with, then it's really not a fair deal for us. Because when it comes to the things that men are supposed to do, if you notice, no man just now rolled his eyes. Like no man, because we understand there are things we're supposed to do. Something goes bump in the night, we gotta get up. If you expect a man to protect you and provide for you and to shield you with his life.
Okay.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You should be willing to some degree to live your life for that man. Okay. If this man is going to live and die for you, because man, we live in servitude for our women, and so we looking for somebody that we can serve. But I'm gonna tell you this: every one of us men, and a whole lot of brothers out here knows that we wouldn't have to look far if we looked outside our race. It's almost like shooting crabs in the barrel when we go outside our race.
Right.
It is. And if I do want to find a sister, if I do want to find somebody with brown skin that's going to cooperate with me a little bit, it's just easier for me to go out of the country and find her.
Hey, I'm going to say so. I'm going to we're going to go to UQ and also to you, PeachDr. And after this segment, we're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit more control because it's taking a little bit long to get to the point. So I'm going to appoint who will be speaking. No more freestyle because we spent a little bit too much time on this one. So Q, go ahead, give us your thoughts.
Okay, I just want to thank Hanifa. I think you guys like the way that she presents it more palatable because on everything I love, I promised that I said the same thing. I said that submission was a exchange of energy where people work together. I promise you that I said that when you ask the question why, that we look at the color purple, meaning there's a negative reference. I just thank you, Hanifa, for saying it in a way that's palatable because I said those things, but then I got Ray going, you just said the color purple. So maybe I should have just said, we have, for the women, and I'm not speaking for myself, but for the women that give you that response, it's because they don't have a healthy point of reference for what submission is. And I also want to say that we can't take something off the table if it's a problem in our community that we want to fix. I do believe cooperation is the key because that's the exchange thing that I started with. But in order to get there, we have to understand what submission actually is and then be able to define it within ourselves to get that mutual exchange that I started with that you guys understood a lot better when Hanifa said it.
Oh, okay. Doc, give me your thoughts.
I'm gonna keep mine quick because I actually do believe what Ricardo said about cooperation. I think even along with the cooperation is teamwork. I think when we're talking about relationships, it's not a one-sided deal, and I think that's the way it has been deemed as successful relationships. I know that are successful, it's been a teamwork type of ordeal. It's not one I'm on a higher pedestal than you because I'm a man, or I make more money than you, so I should be telling you what to do type stuff. It's not any of that. Like I don't know very many relationships that really are happy relationships, happy marriages, where that's not the case. So when we're talking about this and we're talking about solutions and moving us forward, I think that's where we start. It's got to be a teamwork thing and not like Ray gave his whole thing about his peach cobbler, so on and so forth. And I was like, oh, that was really sweet. You know, I've done similar things for a man that I'm dating. But And it don't nothing. Save your
Get your point out, please.
anyway. But again, it's a matter of the respect that they have for you as well. When Hanifa said it's about the mutual respect that you have and the trust that you have for one another, that's where it comes in at. It's not a one-sided thing. And I think that the problem when you say stuff like that to a woman, to a Black woman, because that was on the table, when you say something like, oh, well, why aren't you submitting? Which is what you said to me at the onset, AK. Why don't you submit? Right? Like, again, it's the way that you are coming.
That was a good question, though.
I'm sorry.
That was a very good question, though.
Yeah. But it was not an appropriate question for me because that's not my issue.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, because you do submit.
Okay.
Do you submit?
No, I'm a team player. I believe in teamwork. I believe I believe in that. That's what I believe in. I believe in cooperation. I believe in teamwork. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So my question to you is then why not pick a man that you don't have a problem following?
Hold on. I want to let's go ahead and wrap up this
You
segment.
talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not pick a man worthy of following?
Why not pick a man worthy of following?
Are you saying they don't exist?
What is picking a man worthy of following? What are you asking? Where are you going?
Why not pick a man worthy of following? Like when you
It was a simple question. It was a simple
travel,
question.
right?
I'm not, but Ray, this is between Rico and I.
You travel, right?
Me a question, so I don't need your
travel, right?
Thank you, Ray. Go ahead.
You travel, right?
Your point.
My point. You travel, right?
Yeah. What's your point?
Okay, you choose a flight, right?
Okay. What's your point? Get to it.
You choose a flight. You don't get on the plane and then start having opinions about stuff, do you? You choose an acceptable flight.
All right, we're at 21:14, and we really need to.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have an opinion about everything, but choose somebody that's going in the direction that you want to go.
Hold on one second.
What does that have to do with what I said?
Hold on one second.
What I said was I believe
I don't want to hit the I don't want to hit the mute button.
That's what I said.
I don't want to hit the mute button.
Please do use it.
We're gonna go to the next segment. We spent more than enough time on this. It was a good exchange. If we have time towards the end, we'll follow up. I want to go into our next topic, which is about weave as a protective style. And Ray and the brothers had some things to say about protective style that set things on fire. I mean, I believe in some of the comments you had women saying Black women can wear what the F they want on their head, and actually accused you gentlemen of being drag queens. They said any man who has anything to say about a woman wearing weave is a drag queen. And even the sisters on the panel, it were kind of perturbed by you gentlemen's comments. Their comments weren't as incendiary, but well, let's take a look. I mean, our brother Ray, he said a mouthful.
Yeah, I want to know when the last time Ray was in a hair salon for 3 and 4 hours waiting to get dried, trying to get. I want to know when the last time Ray made an appointment at a hair salon just because, I need to get my retwist or whatever. And he done got there on time, only to wait a half an hour. I wonder when the last time he done packed a bag lunch to go to anybody's salon. I just want to know, because protective styles really are a thing. They really are a thing. Like, I don't know, like, when was the last time he was a woman with hair that needed to be? When was the last time that he was a woman with a head full of hair and 6 children in school that got to get up at 8 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and run a business, and she don't want to spend a half an hour in her hair just to look? When?
Right. So
what's up, Q?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she had a lot to say. Ray, our sister Q said that protective styles is a thing. I mean, even weave is a form of protective style. Now, I know you and Rico had some pretty strong feelings against it. I mean, the only one on the panel who didn't have an issue with it was our brother Sweet Jones, right? So let me go to you, Ray. What do you have to say about our sister Q's point about weave being a protective style? That protective style is a real thing. What are your thoughts?
The idea of weave chaps my ass for so many different reasons, and I don't know really where to begin. I hear that, and every man here has heard that same protective style things. But this is the thing: women they about their beauty. Women are about looking good and feeling good. That's just what women do. No woman is going to put something on and go out into public unless she thinks that what she's putting on is attractive. I know that for sure. A lot of times when you hear one of our sisters going out, or they're going to go get nice for a night out or a prom or whatever they go on, they go get their best weave. It's not because it's necessarily a protective style. It's because they think they're going to slay girl. You understand what I'm saying? We all know that. Let's be 100 about that. No woman puts something on top of their head just for a protective style. Women go out into public. If they have to do a public speech, they're going to put that on top of their head. So the whole idea of you telling us that is a protective style is an insult to my intelligence, first of all. You can't think that we you can't think that we're that stupid to believe that a person that goes their whole life trying to be beautiful, as women do, you can't possibly believe that we will believe that that's a protective style only. That is an insult to anybody's intelligence. And I can't believe someone would say that to us. We know better than that. You spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars with that weave. Then you put that on top of your head. Then you say it's a protective style. It's a damaging style because it causes more damage to your head than it causes anything. Not only is it damaging, it's unattractive, it smells bad, and it's a form of self-hate. Nothing about it is attractive. And I have not ever had a conversation with a group of men in the locker room and somebody said, man, I can't wait for my girl to go get some weed. I ain't never heard a group of men talk about that. And the fact that it's just insulting because after this is done, then here come Eb saying, I don't care what men say. So not only are you going to wear it, but you don't care what we think about it. Are you trying to attract a man? Or are you trying to attract nobody? What are you trying to do? It's just an insult because it's contradictory, it's hypocritical, it's self-hate, on and on, and not only that, but when you see a white girl that has braids or whatever she's doing that's black, what do they call her? Every person knows that they call her names when she's trying to act like a black person. But you're the first one to go get some stringy, dangly, flowing ass shit that don't even match your hairstyle. We don't like that shit. It's an insult because you say that we don't like black women. You don't like black women. Oh. You covering up your blackness. We're telling you you're beautiful. What you're doing is you're going to get some other shit put in your head, damaging your hair. All for what? No. That's why I get so burned up about it, because you hate yourself. Black women hate themselves. They don't want to be feminine, so they don't want to act like a woman, and they damn sure don't want to be a black woman. They want to be a white man. That's how black women want to be. They don't want to be feminine. They want to be strong. I'm powerful. I can be strong as a man. And you don't even want to carry your characteristics that we love to death. So you hate being feminine and being a black woman. We're telling you we think it's beautiful. How can you argue with that?
I want to bring Q in, and before you respond to that, I think it's a brother, Tahuti Ra, said black men who have long hair don't seem to have the same issues. So Q, before you, I want you to, before you address Ray, tell me what you think about this brother's comment. Do you have any thoughts on it?
He has some truth in there. AK, Ebony just texted you a picture of me. Can we pull that up? Because before I address Ray, I'm going to address Ray from my heart because he keeps saying things and I need to educate him. on some things.
I'm
so
going.
let me know if you can get that.
I'm going to send it to myself and then pull it up.
Okay. Okay. Ray, I sat here so eloquently and listened to you, but I still did not get an answer to my question, which was, when was the last time that you were a woman with a head full of hair and you had 6 children, you had a lot of obligations and things you had to do, and you did not have time to make a hair appointment for 3 and 4 hours because you don't have 3 and 4 hours out of your day to sit in the hair salon. And 3 and 4 hours is the bare minimum because it really turns into 6. I asked, when was the last time you had to manage a full head of hair? Because most men that I know, Black men, they go to the barber shop, right? I didn't get an answer to that question. I'm not looking for it anymore because you had 2 times and you obviously don't have one. AK, were you able to get that picture?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. So I'm going to be patient because showing Ray this picture is purposeful. Ray, I'm just curious why he's bringing it up. What do you think of my hair tonight?
I think it's lovely.
You do?
Yes,
okay,
it's black.
This is a protective style, though, my love. It's not my natural mane.
But it looks black, though. It's blackish.
Oh, but that's not
the thing.
Hey, Ray, stop. It's my turn.
Oh, okay, you asked me a question.
I asked you how it looked. Thank you for answering. Thank you.
You don't want my response.
And you're right. And I wanted to acknowledge the statement that you made. I did go pick this out because I knew it was going to look good because, of course, nobody wants to go out looking a mess, right? So you are correct in that when I went looking for this protective style, which is akin to a weave, but not, because my hair still had to be braided and we had to loop it through my hair in order for it to stay for 2 weeks, right? It's not exactly a weave, what you're thinking somewhere they're sewn in, but it is still kind of, there's no thread in here and no glue, but it is still braided into my hair, okay? The reason I wear these, Ray, is not only because I am a mother of 6 children, 4 of them still in school, and I run multiple entrepreneurial ventures. But in addition to that, Ray, once upon a time, I had a very long mane. I hope that AK can pull it up, because I want you to see how proud I was as a Black woman of wearing my natural long mane, which is usually the image that you all come up with, because it certainly is not that 4C kinky hair that Hanifah mentioned. Right? Usually, we could get into that later. You weren't here, right? All right. Now, what happened to me, Ray, is that after being the submissive woman that my husband just had, listen, I was pregnant for 5 years straight. I really was. Literally, I really was. Literally I got pregnant in 2010, had a baby in 2011, was pregnant in 2012, had a baby in 2013, was pregnant in 2014, had a baby in 2015. Honey, I was submissive in all the ways and had the hair, the natural, everything. But what happened is after my last baby, something chemically told my beautiful mane to just start falling out. And so I had bald spots on the sides and in the front. And no matter what I did with my beautiful mane, no matter how much I went to get it done, I couldn't get it looking the way that I felt comfortable. It didn't even have nothing to do with my man. I couldn't do anything because I had this long, beautiful mane with patches on the side. So I had to come up with a way that I could still look beautiful and still feel comfortable and somehow hold on to my hair. That's what protective styles are. You are envisioning women that hate themselves, that cover themselves with makeup, and trying to spew it out as if it is the everyday normal when it is not. Most women that opt for protective styles do so because they are women about their business, about their life, and they know that you men have a vision of how we should look, and you just happen to not realize that it takes longer than sitting in a barber chair and a haircut to maintain that.
Okay, I want to because I want to move this along a little bit. I'm going to go to Rico, then I'm going to go to Doc.
He never did answer my question though, but you know, that's
No.
You wanted me to be quiet? I don't know what you want me to do. You want me to talk or you want me to be quiet? I don't know.
No, I just want to say he never did answer my question. No, you say now, but I just wanted to.
What do you want me to
answer it?
I don't know what you want me to do.
Okay.
What you want? Tell me what to do, baby.
Hey, man, you can. You'll answer it. I want to get everybody in. I want because otherwise it'll just be a constant back and forth, and then other people won't get a chance. Q, I asked Ebony to send it via email because I'm struggling with my text for whatever reason. Once I get it from my email, I'll pull it up. Rico, you've had offline conversations with me, and you talked about this thing about protective style, and you said constantly, I don't know what is protecting, because when I see these sisters go and wear protective styles, they end up with like patches and hairline that goes almost a quarter to the middle of their forehead, right? And so the question that I have for you is, are protective styles really about protecting their hair, as our sister Q so eloquently stated, or is it all lies like Ray suggests, and it's really more about convenience? Your thoughts?
Brother, I tell you this: if having a long or a healthy mane of hair was a stock, since I've heard of protective styles, that stock has plummeted. And yet sisters continue to bet on these protective styles over and over and over again. And I see sisters what is in effect like about a yarmulke worth of hair, like in the back of their head, and then they're investing in all this gel and laying stuff down. And then, they're talking about these protective styles. I just don't see where the protective style, they keep calling them protective styles, but it seems like they're protecting the styles more than the styles are protecting them. I don't see where these styles are netting any results. I don't see, I heard the story that our friend just gave, and I don't know what those protective styles did to restore her patches of hair. I do know that the sides of her hair right now are shaved. And so it seems to me that she could have just done that then. Also,
Who said that I didn't? There are pictures of me bald. This is what grew back. And this helped me grow back. There are pictures of me bald-headed, sir.
Right. I know that I had a lot of objections to what you said. And during the time when you were talking, I did not say a word.
You said I could do something as if I haven't.
Oh, okay.
You said something factually as if I. What you said? Why didn't she do it at the time? I did do that.
Okay, so
I didn't say that you didn't. I said that I don't know why she didn't, if she didn't.
Okay.
All right. So, also you spoke on what men are looking for as pertains to women. I'm going to let you know flat out right now. I think that Hanifa's bald head is amazing. Amazing. And it says a lot to a man. You know certain things about a woman when you see her walking. That is strength to me. And she looks really good. As far as PeachDr is, she don't want to be singled out, but I really happen to like locks. I mean, all we have to do is be natural and still be a woman. Don't use the fact that you ain't got a weave in your hair as an excuse to be lazy and be walking around looking like like you sleep. Like a hobo or something like that. Still be a woman. Still be eloquent. Still be beautiful. That those things that you guys put on your head, you're asking a guy a lot to just sit there and look you in your face and talk to you and not acknowledge the fact that he knows that you have something on your head that doesn't belong there. And if I was to take and glue this hat on my head for 30 days, you would think I was disgusting. If I said, hey, it's a protective style, you would think I was absolutely disgusting, and all type of bacteria and everything would be growing under there, and you would not like it. And we're telling you we don't like it. If you got to get a bald head, get a bald head. You know, still be a lady. Most women do not have to do that. So you're talking about few and far between. And the state of women's hair has.
Our brother Ray, he said a mouthful. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I want to know when the last time
give
Ray
me
was in a
1
hair
second.
salon for 3 and 4 hours, waiting to get dried, trying to get
completely irrelevant.
made an appointment at a hair salon.
All good, bro.
Just because,
all right.
I need to get my retwist or whatever. And he done got there on time, only to wait.
I've been in the hair salon several times for in excess of 3 hours. Several times in my life, in excess of 3 hours. Unfortunately, this time when I grew my hair back, shortly after I started growing it, we had the pandemic. A lot of salons closed down. But yeah, I've been in that situation several times. And I can tell you this, that my hair is healthier than most of the women that I have dated who wear those quote unquote protective styles. And you date a woman whose hair was in the same condition as mine. Glad.
Okay. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring up Q's photo, and then we're going to go over to Doc, and then Sweet Jones, and then Hanifa. Real quick, this is a pic of Q's natural mane. I don't know if that's big enough. If you can see it, can you all see it? Okay, so that's the pic of Q's natural mane.
Okay.
So she wanted us to pull it up. There you have it. Doc, what do you make of this exchange between the brothers and the sisters right now on this issue, on the issue of weave being a protective style? I know you wear your hair naturally, but what's your thoughts?
So I understand both sides, to be honest, and I think I said this or something very similar when it was the just the ladies. I do know that some people wear the weaves for certain, whatever it is that they feel a reason that they need to. I am a woman who tends to side on us being natural as much as I possibly can when it comes to my face, makeup, and my nails. I don't really go and get nails added on. I just go grow my regular nails and so on and so forth. But I also have to say that I think what's missing from the conversation is that just like men deal with things, it can be their skin. It can be, oh, I had hair, now I'm going bald, and now I'm trying to go in between of letting it grow out or cut it all off and shave it all off. And so everybody goes through something at some point, most likely, maybe not everybody, but at some point you might go through something with your hair. I last year was diagnosed with breast cancer. And as I was going through treatment, I lost my hair. And I started to, at that time, I put on a wig because I didn't feel comfortable the way that my hair was. I didn't feel comfortable walking around a certain way in my profession. I didn't feel comfortable. I just didn't. I'm used to having hair. I'm used to having long hair. Yeah, I could cut my hair. I could style my hair however I wanted to. I would wear braids, which was a protective style at some point for me, to wear braids because I lost a lot of my hair because my body was going through a lot of stuff. And I'm not even talking about being diagnosed with cancer. I'm talking about even before that. So there are many things that can take out a woman's hair. Perhaps in Q's situation, after she had gone through all of those hormonal changes in women can impact our hair. And I think those are things, but I will say what Ray is saying as it relates to like some women, it's not necessarily a protective style for them. It's a fashion statement for them. And if that's what they want to do and it's a fashion statement for you, by all means do what you do. Like I'm not, and even though I wear locks, I have lock extensions. Yeah. because I wanted my locks to be longer. I wanted to have it in a place to do something different. So that's my preference. I know that will cut you off, right? Because it looks very natural, which it is. But I have human hair added into my locks already. I did that to extend them because I wanted to do that. So again, it is a woman's preference. I don't feel like I hate myself. I don't feel like this, that, and the other. Did I encounter some esteem issues? Yes, I did, because I was used to looking a certain way. And then life happened to me that caused me to do something different. So I think, Ray, to your point, yeah, I agree with you. Like sometimes some of these weaves be looking ridiculous. And I'm like, why in the world do you have this on, girl? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't agree. Like, you walk around, they got to tie it down and put the strip up there to keep that stuff down. They gelling it and all that. Like, I get it. And I'm not saying I've never worn a wig before. I just told you I did. But I think there are circumstances for different people as to why they do it. Because in some cases, there are women who are having that esteem issue with their hair. And maybe it's not about protection. Maybe they feel like that is what a Black man wants. Because like I mentioned in the last session, I feel like what we see, even on social media, when you're looking at the likes and everything, the likes are that y'all Black men, if you go and look at statistics of these likes that they're putting on pictures of women with their long hairs and big butts, they done had the BBLs and stuff, it's Black guys. And so a lot of people are trying to match and get into what they feel like. A lot of women are trying to get to what they think that the Black man wants and is attracted to. I don't give a damn about all that. I don't. I go to the gym, I work out. I don't have the biggest butt in the world, but I put in work in the gym, or I put in work working out to try to help my body. I'm not in the best shape in the world.
So you're saying you don't give a damn what the brothers think about?
That is not what I said, AK.
That's
you
not
know
what she said.
Okay. I was just telling you.
That's what
now you trying to twist.
That's what the men heard. That's what the men heard.
I did not say that.
No. I felt like she was saying she doesn't give a damn about the societal pressure.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
So I don't feel like she was saying she didn't care what the men say. I really think she really more saying she don't care what other women think she's supposed to do as a woman. She doing her. Right. That's how I feel. But I want to address the lights, and because I gave Abe an example the other day, right?
Can y'all learn
Yeah. Hold on, because I want Doc to finish your point, and then let me go over to Stan, because we have like 3-4 more questions that I would like to get to. That's one of them is on topic, but. Go ahead, Doc. Finish up your point.
What I'm simply saying is, I'm not one that's caught up in, I gotta have these long fake nails. I gotta have weave all down my back. That's not who I am. It's not. Now, if another sister wants to do that, that's her business. It's her prerogative. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. I don't give a damn about. If that's how you want to do it and you want to switch up, because some men like that. Some men are into that. Somebody on this call is definitely into all that. They like the switching up of all that. I'm just saying. So
yeah, well,
that's all I have.
Let's not dry snitch. Let's let people.
No, they are. You had already snitched them. So I didn't dry snitch. You already said it was one brother on here out of y'all, the 4 of you. So that one brother knows exactly who he is. Well, so I didn't dry snitch at all. Thank you.
Let's
Hey man, can I respond to some things, please?
Okay. No, listen.
I won't go far.
Hold on.
Ray get it out.
Hold on. Let me let everybody go through, and then you can, because the thing is, there's some people that are not getting, because people are going back and forth, and we need to get everybody's opinion. Sweet Jones, since you are in the minority, on this issue with weave when it comes to the brothers, all right. You said that you don't mind it in some cases. You actually like for when women switch it up. Do you feel that the sisters are justified in their outrage on this issue? You know, where men are saying, "Hey, look, we don't want weave, and weave is not really a protective style. It's all lies." Or do you think the sisters are just being overly sensitive and they struggle taking a little bit of constructive criticism? Your thoughts?
So short answer, yes. I think they are justified. Now let me expand on that. 50 Cent said, Ye told me 50 switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up, right? That's how I feel about these hairdos and these selections and style, whether it be hair, whether it be nails, whether it be clothing, you know, whatever, heels, whatever it is. Why do we have all this energy for a decision that another human being is making for themselves? Okay, so this whole self-hate thing, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. And Ray ain't trying to sell it to me, but I'm just saying I don't buy it. Kim, what I just heard Kim say, I 100% agree with everything she said.
Ooh.
One, because I pretty much lived it with her to know some of her struggles. Two, because you just have women in your family. You just have women in your life that go through these same things. And they have reason why a lot of times to, you know, do what they want to do what they have. Like, I didn't hear not one woman say this, but one thing I did hear a woman say in the past when I used to have problem with weed, which was conditional from the NWA days and the Too Short days. I wasn't feeling that weed shit. But one thing I didn't hear them mention was color. It's a fashion thing, but women would rather color their weave than color their real hair. They're protecting their real hair from the chemicals of the color. Now that color could be black, it could be blonde, it could be brown, it could be purple. But the fact of the matter is they can snatch that shit out their head and go back to their natural color. So there is a certain level of protection. There's a lot of element of convenience. Like Q said, they don't have time for all that. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to say, when my old lady get ready to roll somewhere, I hate waiting on her. So you know what? If she gotta do something with her hair to shave off that time so we can get out the house a little bit faster, I'm with it. Number one, we're gonna get out the house fast. Number two, I know it's gonna slate, as I've heard said in this chat. She ain't coming out the house half-stepping like that with her head. So to each his own. I don't have the energy to try to dictate what one person should or should not be doing, or one gender should or should not be doing. Because I'd be damned if I'm gonna let a woman tell me I should shave my beard, I should cut my hair bald, I should grow my hair and add dread. Not gonna let nobody tell me what the hell to do. So why should we be telling them? That's why I stand on that.
Okay. We hear you. Hanifah, we're going to go to you, and then we're going to.
I don't know who Kim is, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Hey, maybe he's talking about Kim Jong Il from North Korea. We're gonna. I'm gonna go to.
The artist formerly known as.
I'm gonna go to Hanifah, and then I'm going to open it up with because I know Rico had a follow up, and Ray had a follow up, and if we can keep the follow up short. Because we really need to go to this issue with brothers being accused of being dishonest about liking natural hair and 4C and brothers were like ooh, so brothers are really ready to express their disagreement with you, Hanifah. But go ahead and give us your thoughts.
I'm not going to lean too, I try not to lean too heavily on the sisters around this. I'm a bald woman. I've been bald for a long time. I've been bald for years. I shave my head by choice, right? And here's the thing. I understand that there's some men that ain't their shit, right? And then there are some men that they love it. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter. It came down to what am I most comfortable with? Because the truth be told, anyone that takes the time to get to know me will know that I'm a pretty dope person. So if you allow my baldness to keep you from being blessed, then that's on you. I happen to be with someone who is not really preoccupied with it, and it just works, right? I used to have locks, for a long time as well. And then I think I've been bald maybe over 5 years. But I wanted to say this because as I'm listening to the conversation, Ray has some points. There is a group of women who are wearing these things because they have poor racial esteem. That exists. That's a real thing. Okay. Then there are those who it's just like trendy. I want to switch it up. They're in the industry. They're into fashion, whatever that may be. There are those. So I think what's happening in a lot of conversations. And then there are those who are wearing wigs because maybe they have some sort of thing that they struggle with. Maybe they lost their hair, like sis was saying, when she lost her hair after all the pregnancies and so forth. So it's a number of different reasons. I think what happens in these conversations is that everyone is lumped in to the same box. And I don't think that that's fair. Now, I will say this from what I was listening to. The comment that you put up on the screen, we need to stop comparing ourselves with each other. Men and women are not wired the same. You cannot say to a woman, well, I don't need a protective style as a man. Are you kidding me? What are we really saying when we say that? Do you understand how women mind function? Men are way more simple than us. Women tend to be way more complex. We don't even perceive the world the same, nor do we navigate it the same. There are biological, psychological differences between us. And what I'm hearing is that we have a hard time respecting them. We have a hard time honoring them. We have a hard time loving each other as we exist within them. That's a big issue that we're having here. When you talk about feminine and masculine, the feminine, when you study it, it often represents chaos, right? The masculine tends to represent order, kind of like structure and so forth. There's a reason for that. Women are not men and men are not women. And I'm very big on telling women, stop expecting the brothers, Black women, to show up like your sisters. Go get you a sister circle and sit down somewhere. And I would dare say the same thing to men. Stop expecting us to show up like you. It is not going to happen. So I just wanted to put that out there when it comes to hair and saying, well, we don't need it. Most men who have long hair don't even do their own hair. They don't braid their own hair. They're going to get it braided by someone else. And it's usually a woman. So you guys are asking sisters, I'm talking about just generally, remove it and then do your hair. I see someone say, well, just pull it back in one. There is no woman on this planet that I know unless they're like tomboyish or whatever, that is wearing their hair in a ponytail every single day, day in, day out. It's not happening. And that's okay. It's because we tend to be a little bit more complex in our thinking, and that's okay. I also wanted to say that men also need, like for me, one of the things I didn't like about Black men, wave caps, drove me crazy. Wave caps. What the hell is the purpose of them? What are you guys trying to get from that?
It's protective, right? I mean, it protects, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Keep the frizz down. Keep the frizz down.
Except for it works.
Like the ocean.
It works and it doesn't pull our hair out.
Them lies, but Ray, you can't talk about that wave cap, can you, Ray?
Hey, but I'm bald, but I still put the wave cap on because it protects my scalp. It's protective. Now what? Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hanifa, finish. With that is that Ray made a good point where he was, he talked about we like Black women not liking ourselves. That's there is some truth to that, and that do exist. I think that you have to take it on an individual basis. Don't just see a woman with weaving and assume that it's self-hate, because doctor just gave her story. We wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that outside of this conversation. Now, if I wanted to be, just picking her apart, then I'm like, okay, well, why you wear your hair like that? Just get to know each other and then allow that person to have that conversation with you. If you meet a woman, I would say to the brothers, that probably shouldn't be a barrier. I know a lot of men, and I'm just gonna say this to the ladies. Most men do not like wigs and weaves. They do not.
Thank you.
I don't care how we try to dress that up. I've talked to enough men, and I know we could focus on like the 2 or the 5% who is like, yeah, baby, switch that bad boy up. They are a small number. Most men complain about the smell of weaves. Most men complain about the tapping. Oh
my God.
Most men complain about the fact that, like, I don't even know if you're comfortable with your own hair. Most men do not like it. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. And so for us to try to make it seem like they do, it's not true.
That's real.
But I would say to men, take the time to get to know the person that you are pursuing. And if that's the case, I can guarantee you, if you make that person feel accepted or whatever, more than likely you let them know, like, why don't you wear your natural hair? More than likely they're going to do it. But I do question the women who never wear their natural hair. Mm-hmm. I do think that oftentimes, I'm not talking about sickness, none of that. I'm talking about they have hair. Mm-hmm. But most of the time they want to have the blonde weaves or whatever going down their backs or whatever, and to each his own. But I will say that there's like a pinch, maybe a pinch or a tablespoon of some self-hate in there. I don't know. But I just think we just need to take it on an individual basis, and we need to stop comparing ourselves to each other. We do not think the same. Women and men are very different. Men are way more simple than we are. So don't expect us to show up as it pertains to this topic the same way that you guys do. So, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to bring Rico back in here. Rico, then Ray, then anyone else. Let's keep this short because we have like 2 more topics to get through. We need to jump on this thing
Just let me loose.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead, real quick.
All right. So check this out. When I, in particular, compare myself and my hair to the struggles of women, it's in response. It's in response. When they say, "Oh, you don't know, you don't understand." Okay, so now if you're going to talk about the psyche of a woman, true indeed. I've never worn those shoes, never attempted to. But we're talking about just the hair struggle. And then if you're going to talk about whether or not a man has done his hair, well, most women are getting their hair done by women too. Talk about the whole salon incident. They're not going to the salon so they can do their own hair. They're going to the salon so another woman can do their hair. All right. So same thing when it comes to that. All right. And then someone talked about the likes. Oh, if you're looking at social media, okay, well, I ain't trying to, you're looking at social media because a lot of women say it. So I don't really need to single anybody out. A lot of women say that. But let me just tell you something. I do not like weed. But check it out. I love Mary J. Blige. She wears weed.
Did you see her pics today?
No, sir, I did not, but I will be sure to. I will be sure to. Look at this. I love Mary J. Blige. I think she's beautiful. She wears weed. And I love a lot of women who wear weed. But I still don't like their weed. And if they ask me, I don't care who they are. I'm going to tell them, I do not like your weed. Don't have nothing to do with whether or not I like them. I just don't like that thing that they do. So most men ain't even beating women over the head about the weed discussion, except for a lot of women ask, and we say we don't like it, or we do have to suffer in silence again when we're laying next. I've had women tell me that their hair don't stink, and I'm like, yo, I'm in Big Spoon right here, struggling. I'm struggling. It's smelling like a Frito-Lay factory. You just got out the shower and it smells like a Frito-Lay factory. I mean, I gotta wash my pillowcase and my pillows. Thank goodness I got a front loaded washing machine that I can wash my pillows, because you come over here smelling like corn chips, and we just telling y'all, yo, we don't like. Nobody's gonna like everything about anybody. Also, the hair pieces and the hair extensions. Yo, sister, that it looks good. And it doesn't remind me of anything. It doesn't look like you chopped Mei Ling's hair off or that you scalped a horse or whatever. You look like I could see a sister and run around Africa somewhere with that. So you remind me of home. You don't remind me of something else, and you don't remind me of a Martian. No, I don't know too many men who like that pink and purple stuff. All that. Look, put on a pink and purple.
Wait a minute. I thought you said the green hair was lit. You don't you don't think the green hair is lit? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just on fire.
I'm just double checking. Hey, let me bring in Ray. Ray, go ahead and fire off if you still recall what you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I do. Well, the conversation that we have on this panel is for the community. It's not for particulars. I understand that everybody has a situation that happened. So this is not singling out one or two people. This is for an entire community. I'm talking about, these are general conversations. We ask you all to find out why. Why is it happening? It's not to single you out, Q. It's not to single you out, PeachDr. This is a broader, I'm thinking broader when I'm having these discussions, because so many men have these complaints. It's just not singling anybody out. I understand everybody has these situations. And when I'm saying that I thought that your hair was nice today, Q, and I thought your hair was nice this time and last time, Peach, it's not because I'm not saying accusing Black women of hating themselves because they wear weave. I'm accusing them hating themselves because they wearing a hair that doesn't belong to them. You two may be having hair extensions in your hair, but at least it represents a grade of hair that belongs to us. At least I can look at your hair and say, that right there, that is us. It represents us as Black men. I can look at your hair and say, if it's extensions or not, it's more comfortable for me to say, well, your extensions on your hair, it looks like it's yours. It looks like a Black person. It represents us as Black people. It's not embarrassing for me to see you walk next to a sister, even if she has weave in her hair, but she's representing a Black person. You understand that even though what I say sounds raw, it sounds rough. What I'm saying is it feels more comfortable to see somebody that's wearing hair that looks like this here. I ain't got it here, but it will look like this right here. So I'm not changing up what I say about how y'all's hair is looking just because you have weave. I think you hear me say you have weave, so you're disgusting. No, I'm not. I'm saying your Black hair. And if sisters really wanted it as a protective covering, why not put Black protective coverings in? Because there's plenty of them. That's why I argue you hate yourself, because you're not putting what looks like us in place of you putting what looks like them. They look like that. We don't look like this. You look better than they do.
Right.
That's my whole argument.
I think that's a good way to segue into the next clip.
Wait, Abe, can I just say this? Ray, thank you for clearing that up. That helped tremendously, because I don't think any of us most of us won't push back on that or disagree unless you're just damn crazy. So thank you for clearing that up, sir. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was understood. I mean, but okay. Yeah. Thanks for clearing it up. The next video. Well, I mean, that's going to click.
That's it. That's the game.
Yeah. That is the game, because now playing this video doesn't make much sense. But I'm going to play this. I'm going to play that video. I'm going to play the video anyway. Hold on 1 second. So let me. We're going to play the video anyway.
One of the things that I do want to say from my observation, whether it be online, in my real life, our brothers are dishonest about the natural hair conversation.
When
they say natural, they are talking about those racially ambiguous women. I'm being very honest. They're talking about a certain hair texture.
Okay, I do not know the chart, but I can tell you what it's not. It's definitely not 4C hair. That is not what these brothers are talking about. And that's the part of the conversation that frustrates me, because when you talk that and you know how I know this? There are women who wear their 4C hair out, and brothers diss them. They be like, yo, like, aren't you gonna do something with that?
Now I gotta say, you know, I know there were some brothers who took umbrage with that, because I don't know too many brothers who feel that way about 4C and feel like when they see a woman with her hair in 4C and they're like, yo, you want to do something with that. Now I'll ask the brothers, but I want to bring the sisters in because I don't want it to be a one-sided conversation where brothers talking. So I'm going to go PeachDr, then I'm going to go to Q, then I'm going to go Sweet Jones, Ray, and then Rico and Hanifa will close us out on this one. So go ahead, Doc. Do you have? Okay, so here, let me set this up. Okay. So I'm saying to you, as our sister, that this is another color purple moment, and what I mean by the color purple moment is that sisters have this dystopian view of brothers, and it's largely based on the color purple. And and the color purple is a work of fiction by she's a radical feminist. If you know about Alice Walker, she's a radical feminist. I don't want to get in and turn this into an Alice Walker session, but we can. She's a very interesting person and very hostile to heterosexual black males. Very hostile. But that's another conversation for another day. So when I say that I think this is a color purple moment, I'm saying that I believe that comment is based on fiction. Brothers don't just go out there and say, it's almost like you should have said, oh man, look at that nappy neck. We don't talk like that. We don't talk about that. It's just not true. It's just not true.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hey, are you serious right now? It definitely is that. I wholeheartedly agree with what Hanifa said, having experienced that when I was transitioning from having perm in my hair. And my boyfriend at the time was not trying to hear it. He was not trying to hear me walking around with a little fro on my head. He was not. So when we're talking about, and I'm rocking my natural hair, and I was bold in rocking it too. I mean, it was a transition, just not even when we're talking about our brothers, it was a transition for my family because they're used to seeing me with my hair straight and long and always, you know, I'm able to do different things with it. When I decided I don't want no perm in my hair no more and I started to go through my transition to my natural hair, it was hard for me. I had a whole ton of people that looked just like me, same color as me. But since we're speaking about the men and them being honest about it, the truth of the matter was I was told on numerous guys, you need to go get your hair done, like go get it braided, or like you need to do something with that. Like you're not going out with me like that. Like that's what I was getting from the brothers.
In defense of your former boyfriend.
No, you don't get to do that.
No, I'm just saying because he may have been trying to protect you from the sisters, because it's the sisters. The sisters are the one that's harder on women about their looks and hair than the brother.
We're not. That's not what we were talking about. Okay, so we're not. You're not gonna switch this up. That's not how that works. AK, you so messy. Listen. The reality of it is you say you're okay, but it's okay if it looks a certain way. Right? So a woman with a thick, big, bold afro, some men will find that hella attractive, right? But a woman walking around with her little tiny fro and it's just sitting out there, they may not find that necessarily attractive. They want you to go get something done to that.
So you're talking about the in-between stage.
You can call it in between stage. You can call it what you want to call it.
Well, the reason why I call it that is because I've heard women.
I'll give you an even better example, right? So me going through what I went through just last year, I started locking my hair. But there was always this notion like, you can't go to work like that. Because you know what you do. You know how you're supposed to be represented. So you can't go to work like that. So that's the other pressure of rocking your natural hair. If it doesn't look the way,
and that's from
that was from sisters.
That's a good question, Abe. Good question, Abe. I knew that's a good question.
You're not gonna be able to put this on what the sisters are saying about, oh girl, what you doing with your hair? Because that doesn't necessarily be the case, especially when Black men want to see a different look on a Black woman. But the brothers on this panel stated that they were okay with the natural hair and they're okay with that. So they should be just fine. But they are and what Hanifa said is a very small population of what Ray and Rico are saying, or you two.
That is not my experience.
Oh my God.
That is not my experience.
Y'all don't want the weed, so on and so forth, but y'all don't really want to see what you calling a nappy neck.
No, I'm okay. Q, I'm going to come to you, and I think this is a situation where the sisters are just blaming the brothers for everything short of global warming. Now,
you are so messy right now. This is so messy of you to say we're blaming y'all for everything, and we are not blaming y'all for everything.
Hold on now.
I'm going to let the man do his job.
Q. Now, this thing. I just don't think I don't know many brothers that go around talking about women. Most brothers, matter of fact, I recall in 2010, it was a brother who kind of, Chris Rock had the movie Good Hair. And when he first came out with Good Hair, Black women were attacking him, talking about how can you put our business on the street like that? You're talking about, and what he was talking about in the movie was the dangers of putting chemicals in your hair, the pressure of Black women to straighten their hair, and he talked about like the long-term effects, things like alopecia and so forth. Brothers have always been on this thing where we want you to accept your natural beauty. It's normally been Black women who've taken but y'all are, sisters are projecting that onto brothers. Is that fair, Q?
Okay, so the original question that you asked was that we were talking about, because I see how we tried to go down a big road when we was on the yellow, I don't know, but the original question we were talking about, y'all were responding to the 4C.
Oh yeah, the 4C.
The comment that Hanifa made, right?
Right.
So let me first say, we've all seen my natural mane. I'm gonna stay in my lane and say I've never had those issues because I always had, as Dr. Peach said, the hair that when it was natural. Ooh, the responses I got to mine, that's your real hair? Oh my God. And it was because most men expected, I can say I've gone and got massages where they were, and then they were surprised. There was no, right? So I'm going to stay in my lane and say I haven't had those experiences. However, you're asking why we think that, right? Mm-hmm. And I will say that amongst my sisters, we'll be getting ready to go out. And I'm like, girl, they like, girl, I don't got the hair like you. These brothers ain't wanting to. That's conversations that we have. Because real talk, I could wash it and go. And I respect that. That is a real conversation because my sisters have told me, girl, I ain't got your kind of hair, right? Now, why do we care so much? Well, do y'all remember a movie by a genius, brilliant man out of Brooklyn named Spike Lee? It was a movie called, what was that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
School Days. And there was I'm being facetious, right? School Days. And there was a beautiful number in there called Good Hair. Right? Mm-hmm. It was highlighted and showed that Black men preferred, even in there, when you looked at the women that you all consider beautiful, the ones that the gamma rays, whatever, they were the women that had this, the sisters okay, were not preferred. They weren't. There were stereotypes that men gave. The sisters with that 4C were considered leftovers, not give you just a jigaboo, right? Okay, that infighting came because the women knew they were preferred to the black men because of the way of our skin. Maybe that's because, you know, men prefer something that looks more akin to something that is not like themselves, right? And your fair skin peach cobbler friend only proves my point, because if you preferred that kinky thing and there would be no there's a jigaboo, there wouldn't be these comparisons. It would just be we all black and beautiful. Black is beautiful. It's like a family reunion, but that's not what happens. And I'm a woman that had the hair that y'all were looking for, and I've had these conversations with my sisters. So you can miss me with all this. That ain't true, because yes, it is.
Q, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to bring oh, hold on. I'm going to bring the brothers in. Give me 1 second. I just lost my
bring them into it. Makes sense.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay. So, and then I'm going to bring the brothers in. This is so unfair that y'all put this thing where you say that we want these other women. Look, whether it was Foxy Brown and Sheba Baby, and I'm talking about Pam Grier, brothers have always liked beautiful black sisters, man, Afrocentric sisters. This thing where you're talking about maybe 5% of brothers that like others, right? I'm talking about in terms of your phenotype, in terms of physical beauty. Where you have others, brothers dating others, it largely has to do with the attitude and energy. It doesn't have anything to do with your physical appearance. And oftentimes, when most of us were growing up, right, whether it was your mother or father who told you not to go outside because you don't want to get too dark or you don't want to get too black, normally came from mothers. That thing didn't come from fathers. It's always women. You don't want to get too black. Black was seen as negative coming out of the mouth of women, not men. I don't know too many fathers who say, boy, you don't want to go outside and get black. They say, man, take your ass outside, go play basketball, go do something. It was the mothers that say, man, you don't want to stay out there too long, you're going to get black. So that whole thing with black being negative, that came from women. That did not come from men. So I will say, let me go ahead and bring.
How did black being negative become the thing when we were talking about a texture of hair? I'm so confused how the conversation goes.
Wait a minute. I'm a question to the brothers. Now, I could have swore somebody said something about fair skin and light skin, and that's what you want. Did I miss that?
School days, bro.
Did I miss that?
I was referencing school days.
She brought up School Days.
Okay, but
brought up another movie.
But
Dark-skinned girl.
I mean, the movies. Everything is a movie. Movies are dangerous.
Hey,
no.
If you want dark-skinned girl,
you want to get the point across, just put it in the movie.
I also said I had those conversations in real life. I said, and you all know we related to that movie because it is a thing. Y'all need to stop playing with me with this.
Okay.
It really is a conversation. We're having it right now.
Okay, hold on.
We're literally having the conversation right now. And the reason I referenced that movie is because a lot of women with the nicer hair, there's some other ethnicity in there, be it Native American or be it some European, whatever. Those women are usually of a fairer skin. Stop playing with me. We just are. Usually the women that have that hair that y'all are looking for.
We're talking about hair or skin right now.
We're talking about hair, but I'm giving, it's very rare that you find a woman of a higher complexion with that 4C hair. I mean, I
just have a hard time because
I'm not saying that it's completely, I'm just saying as it referenced to School Days, that's why, if you paid attention to School Days, that's why they did that. I'm not saying it's completely impossible. I'm not saying that. But we're talking about what you guys see. When you look on even the music videos, they're showing these women with, when's the last time you've seen a music, well, they do it now, and they have the weaves, but these music videos with these women that you guys are looking for, even from the 80s, they were fair skinned or white.
Okay.
Hey, wait. What are you? It just seems
we're
like
talking about the hair. No, we're talking about hair.
Wait
right?
a minute. Okay. It seems like every single reference that you have comes from make-believe land. That's not one
no,
single.
because I said I have these conversations with my sisters. I gave you all a reference because y'all ain't in my sister circles, right? I could say that, but to also show you how it's mainstream and how it's put out there, I'm giving you a reference.
Media.
Yo, that's an actual musical number in a film that is blockbuster that shows the stereotype between
It wasn't a
the hair.
blockbuster. It wasn't a blockbuster.
Okay.
Negroes like it. It wasn't even a big movie.
All right.
I don't know. It's a movie.
All right,
but you could rent it at Blockbuster back in the day.
Yeah, you can get it from Blockbuster. I mean, it's Negroes like it was a cult classic. You act like it was Star Wars or something.
Okay. Let's bring it back. Let's bring. I'm having a little fun with the Q. Listen, I think that everything you say has merit. All I'm just saying is, I'm trying to defend the brothers because sometimes I feel like the brothers get blamed for a lot. And along with what Hanifa said, I mean, she said that, we didn't like 4C hair, and I beg to differ. I think a lot of brothers like 4C hair. But let me bring Rico in here. So I'm gonna go Rico, Hanifa, and then Ray. Sweet, I got you, didn't I? Or did I miss you? I got you.
Nah, you missed me, but go ahead.
Okay, so
I'm about no 4Cs and all that stuff y'all talk.
Okay. So, Rico, what do you think about our sister Hanifa saying that we were being dishonest about that, and we like these racially ambiguous women when we talk about natural hair? What are your thoughts?
Okay. For starters, let's just say that. Let's clear the air. We are not being dishonest, sister. Also, I don't think that every sister or even the majority of sisters are walking around with 4C hair. So we always seem like when we're trying to have these discussions with men and women, it seems like the women tend to use the extremes. All right. Let's just not do that, because every woman doesn't have 4C hair, and a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman all day long. A brother be like, look at that beautiful woman with that afro, you know what I mean? But she's still a beautiful woman, whether she got 4C hair or whatever that other extreme is. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. We want sisters that remind us of sisters. On that self-hate thing, I'm just gonna have to tiptoe back on that. For me, I'm not even really focusing on the fact that sisters put stuff in their head that don't make them look like sisters. I'm just gonna say, if brothers were doing something repeatedly that was causing them damage, that was showing obvious signs of damage, I don't know what you would paint that as other than self-hate. You know what I mean? If a doctor done told me, hey, smoke one more cigarette and you're gonna die, and I just go smoke another cigarette, or if the doctor say, hey, bro, you're gonna have to lay off the Mickey D's, and I keep on eating Mickey D's, what do you paint that? Like you're destroying your hair and you're trying to dress it up as protection. And on top of that, we don't like it anyway, but we love you and we see you hurting yourself. We don't like that. And look at that sister. And let me tell you something. Man, hold on, man. That sister that he just showed with that afro before that, dog, she's shutting it down. She's shutting it down. Brother's gonna see her. Every other woman in the place is gonna disappear. And we're gonna be trying to figure out, how do I get next to her? So you can't tell us that we lying about that. We love that. A lot of us love it. We are not in the minority, because that's the reason why we having this argument over and over and over again. We keep trying to tell y'all, hey, we miss y'all. Come on back.
Yeah.
And we is not getting any cooperation.
Oh my God! I'm just seeing it now. Come on. Oh my God!
Hey, bro, watch when you see the sister with the little afro.
Hey, I can't see. I see Rico right now. I can't see it.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh, stop
right.
it!
Kill it.
It ain't no way you gonna look at that right there and tell me that stringy dangly look. Put the dude on here to think it look better. You put him on here. I got something to say. This man crazy. It ain't no way. It ain't no way you gonna pick. Man. It ain't no way you gonna pick that over this. It ain't no way, man.
But yeah, you had another persuasion serving you your peach cobbler. And
let me respond to that.
Right?
Okay, y'all all be quiet. Okay, hold on. Let me respond to that because I hear y'all say that.
Download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
What the hell was that?
Right. Alexa ain't over there.
That's my house.
Yeah.
Alexa done tapped in.
Anyway,
that's peach cobbler tapping in. Go ahead.
This is what I want to say because I know that's something to fall back on. So because that happened, you mean to tell me that I can't like sisters? I can't be attracted to sisters because I'm also attracted to others? You mean to tell me that one piece in like there's not other aspects that would make a person deal with that? You saying that because of that destroys everything that I say? You can't possibly think that's small-minded. It's no way that you could think that's small-minded. As much as I'm being as complimentary as I'm being, you really think that just that small piece is the reason? We could really go down a list of reasons. I mean, if that's what you argued, you really want to go down a list of reasons why that's happening? Come on, man. Come on. This is not necessarily our fault. Black men have been asking for things to change for a long time and getting tired of it. And guess what's happening? This is happening. Oh, what else you expect this to happen? What else you expect?
Hey, Ray.
Got it.
Hey, Ray.
What's up?
Let's just let the women witness this. If indeed us fellas did not love the black women more than anything else, would any of us even participate in these types of discussions?
Never. You never hear a gay man arguing about not liking women. How many gay men have you seen argue about how they tired of women? Because gay men don't have to deal with women, so they don't argue about women like we do. Black men, and it's just the same thing with black men. If you argue the point as much as passionate as you feel, like we arguing it, obviously you feel some type of way about it. If there's no passion, there's no care. Exactly. You can't see that.
And if indeed we did not cherish them over anyone else, how easy would it be for us to go get peach cobbler?
It's easy.
Almost anywhere else.
They want us more than
you got the other persuasion making peach cobbler. Go right ahead, boo.
Listen.
Okay. Hey,
I'm just gonna tell you this straight up. Oh. Most brothers are just asking for the bare.
Hold on, Hanifa.
As far as cooperation from sisters, when we would get the absolute max almost anywhere else, and we're just telling you we love you that much, and we're just asking you for the bare minimum. Just please stop beating us up.
Please. Real hair submission. That's all.
Let me read this this comment from our sister Ma'at. I have to excuse me. What she said is it's all connected. Black men feel this way about black women because black women feel this way about what is considered beauty. Like black women feel this way because of programming is passed on. So what she said is something along the lines of what Hanifa said earlier, as far as it being the trauma being passed on. Hanifa, am I fair in representing your point?
Yeah, I think I was responding to Ray as well. I think we won the submission conversation, and I was saying a lot of it is inherited. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure I was being fair to Hanifa's point.
Someone else who was speaking?
I think it was Rico was speaking.
Hey.
Well, okay, cool. I do want to acknowledge that there was a period of time, just outside of our lifetime, where it was beneficial and even more safe for you to be more fair skinned, for you to have a smoother texture of hair. But that wasn't a standard that the black man put on you. It's just you couldn't work in the house if you was too nappy. You know what I mean? So that's why we be trying to tell you, don't put it on us. And so just outside of that time, there was a time period where black men and black women recognized that the more fair-skinned person, the person with the straighter hair, was obviously going to be granted more opportunities. So when you talk about the early 1900s, and just outside of slavery, the light-skinned brother and the light-skinned sister, they got better jobs. It's just what happened. It's not something that we did, but it's something that we recognized. I mean, I was born in 1972, and once I was going to school myself, the typical girl that approached me just was like flat out, it's something I heard all the time. Oh, you're light skinned. Oh, you got wavy hair. We should have a baby. I mean, I started hearing that from like 11, which terrified me because I was just like, you don't even think you should know my name first? I mean, it was just you're light skinned, you got wavy hair, we should have a baby. That is not, that's something that was put on us. But we're past that now. No. Okay. Well, maybe the women aren't past it, but I'm telling you that the men are past that. We want to embrace our sisters looking like our sisters. And it's not as much of an issue as far as you getting a job or something like that. So, we just not feeling it.
Right.
We not feeling it.
Sweet Jones, I want to bring you in this. What are your thoughts? Or do you have any on this 4C? I mean,
First of all, I never heard that term before until tonight. Let's just start right there. What are y'all saying? 4C or 4 seed? What are y'all saying?
No, 4C.
Yeah, 4 C. The letter C.
Yeah, that's like the sisters that I had showing that's the 4C.
Is that on the pack at the hair store or something? I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
All right, that's number one. Number two, I thought we were done talking about hair. I thought Ray put a nice bow on that, and the ladies was all for it, and they was happy about what he said.
I was trying to close. I was trying to close this thing out. That's why I said if anybody else had it, I agree with you, Sweet Stone. I thought that he summed it up nicely. I thought it was a done deal that brothers like natural hair.
You started to back up though.
Who me? Well, no, I had to show the video. I had to show the video because
you did. You made a choice.
So I would say, well, I tell you what.
You wanted to water your petty plant.
No, I think. We
I ain't gonna lie, you was pretty damn petty there. That was petty as a mother.
Yeah. Okay. So now everybody's turning against me. I will say this. Okay. So there's a consensus. There's a consensus.
We're just acknowledging that we're not arguing no more.
Okay. So we are done with this, and I want to go. I want to segue over to another clip that the sisters had about successful women's attitudes, right? Successful women's attitudes. And, and ask the brothers, do they think it stinks? So let me pull that up. Give me 1 second, because I thought I had a little bit more time, but you guys are ready to move on from that topic. Thank goodness.
Yes, sir.
Wait. Hanifa got something to say.
Hanifa, do you have something or
Yeah,
okay.
and I only have something because after that night, I actually thought a little deeper about the conversation. And another part of the conversation that I wish that we got into is oftentimes when men it's important that we ask men, what do they mean when they say natural? Because sometimes, at least from what I found, Black men are fine with Black women with perm hair. As long as it's their own hair. So when they say natural, they're really asking for them to just wear their own hair sometimes. And so it's important to have that conversation. But I wanted to say, listening to everyone before we move on, what we're discussing, a lot of what we're talking about is what we call beauty politics, right? Beauty politics. And we all participate in it. This idea of there's texturism, featureism, colorism that Black people deal with all the time. Featureism is you have the sisters that be like, dang, his nose too big. He look like he can snort me up, you know, or something like that, right? Or his lips is humongous, or, you know, that's featureism. We have that in our community, right? But the thing that feeds texturism, featureism, colorism, when we talk about beauty politics is all rooted in proximity to whiteness. Let's be clear about that. So this idea that it's a female thing, that we are the only ones that participate in this is bullcrap. Because to think that Black women are the only one participating in this is to say that Black men are unaffected by racism and so-called, or the illusion of white supremacy. That's a lie. We are all affected by it in one way or the other. Some of us are literally trying to come out of it and trying to kind of like decolonize our mind and our thinking and so forth. But to think that this is just something Black women participate in, that's just really crazy to me. Because it's like, what are we saying? We live under a system of racism. Black men are the only ones that are untouched? You guys are
hold on.
Wait, hold up. You guys are not
addressing my concern, and I didn't say that we weren't.
No. I'm not speaking to you, Papa. I'm not speaking to you. I was reading a comment.
It is directly related to what I said.
No. Listen, Papa. I'm not speaking to you. There's a comment that someone made, and they said, women, right, or men are not bothered by those things, or Black men don't think about those things. And I'm saying to you to say, I'm talking generally because we are talking to our audience as well, not just each other. And so what I was trying to say to that is, I've heard people say that only unattractive women complain about colorism. I've heard that stated by Black men before. And to me, it's just a dismissal and minimization of the reality of the racist system that we exist in as a people. It's very dismissive. So that's what I'm speaking to. And then the last thing I'm going to say is when we talk about that, if you never heard the statement, you're beautiful for a dark-skinned girl, okay? You never heard the statement. Let me finish. You ever heard the statement where women have been told, because they have mixed parents, they've been told by men, when the men actually see the texture hair, oh, I thought your hair would look different, being that you're mixed, right? But you know, genetics is a gamble. You don't know what you're about to get, okay? And then also, I want to be able to run my hands through her hair. Whoa.
Come on, boy.
That is one of the most anti-Black statements that you can make to a Black woman. Are you kidding me? Run your hands, your fingers through which hair? Which Black woman hair? Which texture are we talking about?
On this panel.
And then the last thing is, woman, this is for women. Because like I said, we all participate in beauty politics to a certain extent. Why are we still talking about baby hair at 35 years old? What are we doing? Why are you slicking that down talking about that's my baby hair? So again, a lot of it is rooted in beauty politics, which is rooted in proximity to whiteness. It is somebody else's standard, and I'm with Ray on this one, that all of us are trying to, you know, kind of like get with. So when we find exceptions like the Rays and the Ricos and, you know, the brother up in the corner, I'm sorry. Sweet
Jones.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet. When you find, I want you guys to know that most of the times we are surrounded by like-minded people. So we often think that these things don't exist, right? I am surrounded by women who are very, very Black conscious. But it doesn't mean, right, that there aren't men and women out there who hate themselves. It doesn't mean that there aren't men out there who are looking for women who have a close proximity to whiteness. There is colorism. Colorism exists in the mind of Black people.
Okay, the system is not just outside of us. It is within us as well. And we are all affected by it. And some of us who think we're so far removed from it are still carrying residual stuff, myself included, that we have to check oftentimes. This is a real thing. We are programmed from the womb. From the womb. You're in your mother's wombs. Your mother's womb hearing conversations. You're in your mother's womb hearing the TV programs that they're watching. So you're coming into this world already programmed. And on top of that, you're entering a world that tells you, because of the body you are showing up in, that you are less than, that you are less beautiful, that you are less capable. Okay? So yes, we are all affected. I'm sorry, that bothered me, because this minimization that we often do about our struggles, because we are in this together. Let's be clear. Yeah. We are in this together. And I'm sick of the idea of us fighting each other. And the person who is really responsible, or the people of the small collective of people who are responsible, go unscathed. No one addresses it. No one talks about that. No one talks about the person pulling the strings. We are down here fighting each other. No one is saying who put the crabs in the barrel in the first place. We're just talking about the crabs pulling each other down. So we are in this together, whether we like it or not, right? So it's best that we figure out a way to work with each other and stop minimizing our struggles just so that you can fit and push a narrative, or you just want to push your anecdotal experience. We are experiencing this stuff collectively. Featureism, colorism, texturism, the illusion of white supremacy. Beauty politics is all rooted in that. So I just wanted to say that. And it's not to you, Rico. It's just a comment that I saw, and I'm like, what? That's it.
Oh, good thoughts. Good thoughts.
Man.
I want to.
She's a thug, man.
Hey, I mean,
I'm scared to talk. Jesus, ain't nobody gonna rebut that. What am I gonna do?
I ain't scared to talk. I ain't scared to talk.
No, it was.
But Ray, she said
real.
the same thing I said about the colorisms. I gave you a reference that was easy.
Man,
I did.
gave me a movie.
Hold on. Wait. One second. We can't. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I gotta mute you. because the folks, they're not gonna be able to hear everybody talking over each other. So,
man.
So Q, go ahead. And I couldn't hear what you were saying because everybody was talking. Q.
I said, I love when Hanifa speaks, because for some reason when I say it, it's not received. When I pointed to good hair, bad hair, that is colorism. That is all the things that Hanifa said. I gave you a quick reference that you could point to, and y'all focused on the fact that it was a movie. You didn't focus on the fact that that movie was made by a prominent Black man in our community. You wanted to belittle it not being a blockbuster. You wanted to focus on the fact that it was a movie and disregard the fact that the movie was made for us, about us, and by us.
Right.
Those things exist within our community. Because I say it's a movie, you want to disregard it. When I'm pointed to the color purple, those things existed in our community, but you want to disregard it because it's a movie. My God, art imitates life. Please stop focusing on the fact that I'm giving you movies as a reference because it's entertainment, and understand that entertainment comes from life, right? So if I reference something, shows you that's colorism. Good hair. It's all the things that Hanifa said much more eloquently than for your I don't know. I don't speak the right language, I guess. But thank you, Hanifa. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Hanifa. That was.
Thank you for everybody, Hanifa. You got some points across for both of us, not just them. Both of us got points across.
I will say this. I want to segue over to our last segment, which is going to be on successful women's attitude. This will be our final segment before we go into our final thoughts and close out the show. We're gonna watch this clip, and again, it's from the sisters, and to provide context for those in the audience who may not be familiar, it was about this feeling or this notion that men are intimidated, Black men are intimidated by Black women because of their success, because of their academic success, and or the fact that their career success. Let's hear let's hear what our sister had to say.
But I think it's two things. I think there are men who are intimidated, and I think that there are men who are just turned off by Black women's attitude. Because if we're really honest, a lot of us are walking around with chips on our shoulders. And we are always ready to, and of course we could get into the factors as to why that is, but it doesn't change the reality, right? We could talk about why that is all day long, but it does not change the reality. So if I see a woman and she's always mad and always screw face, and I'm not talking about smiling at every man because I hate that conversation too, but being polite, being kind, it doesn't take anything from you. Black women act like that with other Black women. So I know they're acting like that with Black men. So I know that that's a factor as well. But I think it's, again, this is also another layered conversation, and we're trying to have them in very black and white ways, because there's a lot of factors that contribute to these things that we're discussing. But no, majority of men are not intimidated by women's success. Majority of men are turned off by successful women's attitudes.
What's there to add? What is there to add?
Yeah, and Sweets, I was coming to you with that, and I think she summed it up pretty eloquently. I just wanted to get to know what your thoughts were, and if you agree, or if you feel that with some of the sisters, that some of the sisters, man, maybe feeling themselves a little too much. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so I most definitely agree with Hanifa. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more so the attitude that comes along with the success or the education that some of our women acquire. You know, I know we just had this still about talking about movies and stuff like that, but you listen to like Cardi B music, Megan Thee Stallion music. Those are the type of women who are telling you, and they all in your face with it. I got this, I got the money, I got the body. You know what I'm saying? What? Nigga, shut up, don't talk to me. You can't say nothing to me unless I talk to you type shit. You know what I'm saying? In some of their music. And so I just think, just kind of bringing it back to, I guess, our, everyday, I guess, working women. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of them look at that. I mean, just think because they have acquired all this education and success, some of them, it does go to their head. Now, you're going to have some that's like, they can be cool with it, but I know of people who say they can't have a man that don't meet certain educational requirements. I know of women who say they can't have a man that don't meet certain monetary requirements. Mm-hmm. I think that's just what I know personally. So I don't know, man. I'm a roll with Hanifa. I don't really have a whole lot to add to what she said, but that's where I'm at on that.
Okay. Doc, when I asked this question, you had this I don't know, I don't want to say an evil grin, but you had something going on there. What were you thinking when I asked that question? What was on your mind when I asked that question? Are some of the sisters, Sweet Jones, or some of the sisters feeling themselves a little bit too much?
So I would have to say so. Yeah, I think that does play a part in the guy not necessarily wanting to deal with a woman if we're talking about status and what she has, and some women do portray themselves or put themselves on a pedestal of I'm this, I'm that, I have this, I have that, and that can come out very demeaning to our men, right? Mm-hmm. So I do agree with that, but I think in this same clip is where I also shared my own personal experiences of what I've had and how I've encountered situations like that with guys I've dated, or guys that, it was like we're getting to know each other. And I also stated that in my own personal experience, it's like, I had a conversation with Sweet Jones about this situation. And I think the word was when we were talking about the two pictures that you showed during that segment, we were talking about like, oh, he stated that I wouldn't have went with Halle Berry because I feel like she would have been out of my league. And I was like, maybe that's more along the lines of where, you know, it comes from. It's like, oh, that's where saying she's out of my league is also a form of intimidation.
Right. But it's not going to be about education and success.
Well, you want to own up to it or not. So, but all of that's kind of lumped in some cases for some men. Like, it's what she's got this, she's got that, she's this, she's that. She out of my league.
But what
that's
makes
intimidating?
But what makes you think that they don't want to deal with a woman like that because they feel like she's that they're intimidated? Look.
Well, I think part of the problem is you cut yourself short from really getting to know the individual, right? So, like, there's no mistaking what I have. I've already shared that in the last segment. However, if you were to get to know me, you'll see, like, I'm not one that's, oh, you got to call me this, you got to call me that, I'm this, I have this. I don't ever come off to anybody in that fashion. That's not who I am. But there are some people, there are some sisters who are out there like that. And I be giving them a side eye because I don't understand that. Like, you have to be humble in your accomplishments. I also know, that I have no problem being a humble person because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. I may come off one way on this panel, but getting to know me outside of this foolishness, right? I'm a totally cool, down to earth person. That's who I am. But it can also, some people are not able to, some men, I'm not going to say people, in this case, we're talking about the Black man being intimidated or Black men feeling, you know, a certain way about a Black woman's accomplishment. I agree. If a woman is giving you attitude and she's been a full-on snob, then yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to be with her. I can understand that. Because, like, who wants to be with that if all you got to do is throw it up in their face about what you have, what you got? Don't nobody want to be with that. Nobody. Mm-hmm. But if you're coming in a sense of like, hey, I would like to just be viewed as Doc, just me, like who I am as a person without the titles, then that's another story.
Right.
And that should not be something that's not something I find that should be an intimidation. It should be an asset, not a liability.
And I would say that depending on the woman, it is seen as asset. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to move on to Rico. I think the problem that brothers may have with some sisters who have their education and the careers, it's not so much that they're intimidated by the fact that you have more education. At the end of the day, we're Black people. And in America, most Black women have always had more education than Black men. The mother may have had a high school degree and the father dropped out in the 4th grade and he was working on fields as sharecroppers, or in the 50s and 60s, you may have had somebody drop out to in the 10th grade to go work in the factories and the mother had some education. That was never really a thing. That is more of this, I'm strong, independent woman. And they're like, with some of these sisters, they're really in your face. And I want to tell you, even though Black men are somewhat braggadocious, right? Because we brag and we boast. We all do. We're just Black people. That's what we do. But when it's someone in your inner circle, it's not acceptable. Like even amongst men, right? If you have a master's degree, you have a great job, it's cool. You have a master's degree, you have a PhD, just don't talk about it. Let somebody else talk about it. Let somebody else talk about how smart you are. You see, right. if you look at just take rappers, for example. The guys who get robbed, the guys who talk about how much money and how fly they are, when they go to the hood by themselves, guess what happens? They get robbed. The guys who brag about how tough they are and they just, guess what happens when they go to the hood? Somebody's always trying to check them because Black men hate braggarts. And a lot of black women tend to do it. Oh, sis, we get in the bag. You know, we got this. We travel. It's a turnoff. It is. It really is a turnoff. And I will tell you this before I move on to Rico. Black men are not oblivious. We know how much education costs. And when, like I said, there was a month or two ago, I was listening to a young sister on, it was on Clubhouse, in one of the rooms in Clubhouse. And she led with her academic accomplishments. Yeah, I have 2 degrees and I have a degree in psychology. And all I heard was that she had 2 master's degrees, and I'm already calculating. I couldn't hear anything past how much money she owes. I was thinking she probably owed like 120,000, 130,000. And a lot of guys are processing information the very same way, because we are black. We know that you don't necessarily have the money to pay for all those degrees. You know that, hey, when you graduate from grad school, at least $60,000, $70,000 in student loans. You go for a PhD, add on another $70,000. So you already know, hey man, this person got $150,000 in student loan debt. And the thing with student loan debt, it's not like a mortgage. It's capitalized interest. It keeps going up and up and up. It's very hard to pay that thing. In my opinion, these student loans, man, are nothing more than modern day slavery. It's a scam to get people caught up in debt, and you end up being a wage slave. So okay, Rico, you might go ahead real quick, Sweet Jones. Let me go to Rico.
That got 15 seconds.
Okay.
15 seconds. I just wanted to clarify what Doc had said earlier. I was explaining to her what the point you was trying to get across with those 2 pictures last week. Mm-hmm. And she had a difference in opinion of how you should have presented it. And I was just explaining that to her. And just for the record, I said I would shoot my shot at the Halle Berry type. And she confirmed it. I just said that some people, you know, would look at Halle and be, you know, intimidated. That's how the conversation went.
Okay. Rico, what's going on with some of our sisters, man? I mean, do you feel like some sisters are developing some sort of superiority complex?
Absolutely.
AK, you so messy, guy.
Good question.
I mean, it's a valid question, and it's valid because we see it. I think sisters, man, they like the new saxophonists or something like that, man, or the trumpeters. Everything they do, they gotta toot that horn. Everything. And it don't be having nothing to do with nothing. I don't know how many degrees. Look, man, I've known Abe for a really long time. I do not. I know he went to college. I do not know that brother's level of education. You know what I mean?
Just know he
I
know
would not be Abe's friend if every time we had a discussion or a disagreement, he was like, well, I feel like as a married man, a father of X amount of children. Look, but I don't even know how many children he had. Like, I got to sit back and start saying names to figure out how many children he had. I don't even, if every time I talk to Abe, he said as a married man and the father of X amount of children, and a man in his late 40s, and a man with multiple degrees, a man who has had a successful job and a successful business. Like, brothers don't do that. When Abe asks me a question about electrical work, I don't say, oh, I feel like as a man who's done electrical work for 25 years and a person who's owned multiple homes. And that's what brothers got to sit and listen to when we just ask a woman, hey, you want iced tea or you want lemonade? You know, and it just be like simple conversations. Listen to all this whole horn section. And we don't want to go through that. We don't want to go through that. We know you got, you know, X amount of kids. We know you got your master's degrees. You told us on the dating app. You know what I'm saying? We know that. All right. So you ain't got to keep validating yourself and somehow suggesting your experience outweighs our implied lack of experience. Because, you know, the man not going to counter and be like, oh, I got 15 degrees too. We're not going to do that. Also, I wanted to address that, like little things in conversations that make communication really difficult. When you start introducing words like crazy and stuff like that, it can make conversations a little difficult. I'm not going to say when they got introduced. People's feelings are people's feelings, and probably just don't need to introduce stuff like that, because I'm sure the fellas agree that there's a lot of points that were attempted that we would kind of feel like we're bordering on, if not were absolutely ridiculous or crazy. But we just try to keep that out of the conversation. But we just definitely are not intimidated by a woman's level of success. But we do know that women, when they're in the position of power, or they perceive themselves to be in a position of power, they can be very abusive when it comes to speech, and even whether or not you could feel secure with your resting your head or anything like that. But just the speech alone is just really, really difficult with a quote unquote educated woman when they're going to keep reminding you of what they have achieved or accomplished or what they've been through. Because we all been through a lot too.
Right.
I don't know if that was clear, if that makes any kind of sense, because I was kind of rambling. But I'm just saying, we're not intimidated as much as we are irritated.
Q, can you understand where the brothers are coming from? Like, we love you, we love y'all, and we know that y'all are awesome, and we know that y'all are great, but nobody wants to have that thrown in their face all the time. You just don't. Can you see how that would be obnoxious? Because I
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. I mean, as Sweet said, I don't really think I'm gonna echo Hanifa. I mean, the times that I really, it is more so. I think the intimidation thing. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because I know that it does. But there's room for both sides of this argument, because I personally know people who they have achieved those things. And I have one family member in particular who I personally believe has on multiple occasions passed on good men that could have been her husband because of her mentality of what she thought was needed. And this was, in our 20s, when it was like not understanding that you can build with someone, wanting them to be where she was. And so I understand that those things do happen, but the other side does happen as well. You do have men who, for whatever reason, they've made up in their mind that she's out of my league, and they won't even try. And they will assume that that woman, those accomplishments those things are her. And they don't have the ability to separate the woman from her accomplishments as it pertains to who she is as an actual person.
I don't know. Let me
and it is. And if you guys are saying that, well, really what it is, I forget which one of you guys said it, but maybe it was you that said, oh, you're automatically calculating. If she's got all these degrees, well, she's got all this debt. Mm-hmm. So are you intimidated by the debt? I was wondering.
Yeah. Let me answer that question. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No, I just want to know.
No, let me follow up. Let me follow up.
If that's the case, then can that be something that is said honestly? Look, baby girl, listen, you seem dope. I'm sure you are brilliant, but I check a couple of things. I check your attitude. I check if you can cook, and I check FICO scores, baby. And I ain't sure how yours gonna rock it. These are honest conversations then, because you're right. You can calculate how much a degree costs. Then don't make it about her accomplishments. Make it about, we old enough to start maybe thinking about marriage, and you got 100,000 K in debt. I don't want to take that on.
At that point, Q, let me push back a little bit. At that point, it's on the woman, okay? Because here's one thing about guys. If a man values a woman and he loves her spirit, he loves her, he will overlook that debt. He will overlook how many kids she had, because there are a lot of guys that don't want to marry women with kids.
You just said that's fine, and I said if that's the case, then have that conversation. But if you shut it down because you start computing debt,
no,
you're telling us it's something else, you know.
What I'm saying is that's what's in the back of his mind. And if you have somebody that you feel for 1 second you're going to have a problem with, or this person thinks that she knows everything, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for a lot of guys. I will tell you, I remember dealing with a girl who, because she had a college degree at the time and I didn't, you couldn't tell her anything. And there were things that she was absolutely wrong. Her favorite phrase was, "Don't tell me." And then would follow up, I got a degree from UCLA. And she even argued me one time. She said that Texas was bigger than Alaska. Now, fifth graders know that Texas is not bigger than Alaska. You can put Texas and Alaska like twice. But she was hiding behind her degree, and you couldn't tell her anything because she had a degree. And there are a lot of women like that. And I tend to think that it comes from a place of insecurity. And a lot of times, some of these girls who are raised without their fathers, right? They have this, Angela Carr Patterson called it was 4 archetypes. And one of the archetypes is the superwoman daughter. And they seek this validation, and they go on in life and they feel like, I don't need him, I'll show him. And they do everything by themselves. And they go on to adulthood with that same attitude. I don't need anybody. And they want to throw their success in the face, particularly in the face of men. And a lot of men don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. I'm reading a lot of women. They want to buy their own homes, and they want to have everything. You want to buy your own home and have all this debt. And then you expect a man to walk, a 6-figure guy to walk in and move into your house so he can pay your debt. That's not happening. Guys are not doing that. Because a guy knows
it's not their responsibility.
Well,
if you like, for me, I went to school. Mm-hmm. I don't expect for nobody to deal with any debt I accumulated.
Oh my God!
That's why I said have the conversation.
I don't have that expectation of someone else to take on that responsibility for decisions I made prior to them. Why am I asking for you to take that, to handle my debt? No, I'm not asking you to handle my debt.
Doc, it doesn't happen like that. And I'm telling you,
it doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't happen like that.
How does it happen, Ray? How does it happen, Ray?
It sounds good on paper, what you just said. But coming from a man that has dated women his whole life, when you enter into a woman's life, she's going to expect you to take on financial responsibility of X, Y, and Z. Whether it's straightforward or indirect, a lot of money will be coming out of your pocket. That is what you're saying. It sounds real good. And I've heard that many times. But once you get into a relationship with a woman, she's going to expect you to take that lead. She won't follow behind you on the submissive level, but she will expect you to take that traditional lead. But it sounds good. And I wish what you said was true, but it's absolutely not true. And a lot of times the women that have these debt, especially with student loan, they don't even have jobs and careers that will be able to support the debt that they are accumulating. They go into for ridiculous things like female studies. What did that pay? $10,000 a year? They go into careers like, it's nothing wrong with these careers, but they don't pay the bills like the debt that they have, like teaching. Teaching is a $35,000 coming out of school, $40,000. You're not making enough money to take care of this. And if you do pay them, you're gonna have to pay them for the rest of your life. And when you get married to a man, you get in a relationship with a man, in order for y'all to move forward, especially if he's a man that's an entrepreneur or a guy that has some sort of business about himself, all that affects his credit too. He's in it together. You're in trouble. You have to think of things on the financial level, but because you don't necessarily have to do that because you don't see it that way. But that's how men are calculated. Every time I hear of a woman, I'm going on a party, I'm going on a vacation, I'm going to do this, I'm turning up, I'm cooking, I'm going out all the time. What I hear is I'm going to have to take on that financial responsibility because I am the man and I have to take care of that. Just like if we have daughters and the daughter's hair is fucked up all the time, they're gonna look at the mother and say, why is the kid's hair messed up? What's going on? They won't look at the father for that. But if the lights get cut off, they're not gonna look at you. I don't care how many degrees you got. They're gonna say, why is your lights cut off? This man can't take care of his business. That's how it's looked at. We have responsibilities that we naturally take on. And whether you like it or not, women are going to look at men and expect them to take care of things that they can't take care of on a financial level. It just sounds good, but it just doesn't work in real life.
Yeah. And well, Ray, I'm coming back to you. Who was that? Was that you, Sweet?
No, I said at all. I was agreeing with Ray.
Okay. Hey, Ray, I'm gonna come to you with this question, and then we're gonna go to Hanifa, and then we're gonna go to do our closing statements. But I think this is pretty much answered, because it's just a variation of the same type of question, man. You think the sisters are letting the success go to their head, and is it hurting them? Is it hurting them or helping them?
In the long run, the things that we complain about, in the long run, it hurts women. If anybody is put in a better position for this, it's men. I mean, this whole movement as a whole has not done any justice to women. Maybe for the short term, it does do justice for you. But what happens in 25 years when you're not cute? What happens when you're in 30 more years when you're aging? What happens to you later on when there's no man around to take care of you? The most vulnerable person in the world is a single older woman. You can't get more vulnerable than that, but because you can't work, you definitely can't work enough to support yourself. And what do you have now? If there's no man around and you're 70 years old, what do you do then? Because in the short term, you can be strong and you can not need no man. You can be tough and I ain't gonna submit. You can do that for short term, but at some point, men are not going to be throwing themselves to get at you because you're going to get older. And then what? Then what do you got? Because all this does for men is force them to say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to have sex with a bunch of women. Because at the end of the day, we can always go to that. I mean, it might sound juvenile, but we could just say, I'll have sex with them and that's it. I mean, I'll move on. It's plenty of women that come and go that have all these characteristics that we hate. But you know what we do with those women? We have sex with them. That's all. We have sex with them and we move forward. That's all. Because when a man is single, he saves more money. When a woman is single, she spends more money. Who do you think is going to benefit by being in a relationship more so? A woman is going to benefit more. So on the long term, what would you rather do? Get on the program, we get on each other's program and have matrimony and die together, so where you take it care of, or do you want to just be too strong for us and then later on have to depend on the government that won't be able to support you sooner or later? At some point, all these single women that were too strong for men, 30, 40 more years, it's going to be a surplus over. They're not going to be able to take care of all y'all. It's just not. It's not beneficial to women at all. It benefits men more because it makes us say, I'm going to be a bachelor. I ain't got to spend money. Because we don't spend a lot of money in relationships, like it or not. And it makes us just say, listen, man, we could just have a surplus of women. I mean, they're giving out free sex. That's what the whole movement started over, giving out free sex. I mean, we're getting what we want and we're not giving away anything we don't want to give away. It's a win-win for men. It's a lose for women in the long term. It's just hard for women to see things way down the street around the corner. They can't see what's going to happen in 20, 30, 40 more years. They can see hot girl summer now. Not that y'all say hot girl summer, I'm saying later on, we have to, as men, know how to look down the street and see around the corner and prepare for our financial future. Women just see what's happening right in front of them. I'm just gonna make enough money so I can go out for the weekend. I have to say, I'm gonna be 70 years old at some point and I won't be able to work anymore. I have to prepare myself. And that's what we do for women. When we love a woman, we prepare for you all to die without having to kill yourself. Our bodies are made to work hard. Y'all's are not. So either get on our level or we get on together, we get on each other's level, or somebody's gonna die by themselves. And listen, nobody wants to be alone, men or women. But who's really better, worse off when they single by themselves? Old. Who's worse off? Is it men or is it women?
Right. Whew. That was you said a mouthful. Hanifah, go ahead and close us out, and then we'll head to closing remarks.
So just for this particular segment, I just wrote a few things. Men have to be more responsible about who they pick, and women have to be more responsible about how they prepare to be picked. Because the reality is, unless you are proposing to a man, men are the ones who are holding that access to the marriage. Now, not everyone wants to be married, but if that is something that you're looking forward to, I think women need to do a better job at preparing for when that does happen. And getting an accounting degree doesn't necessarily prepare you to be a good wife to a person. You know what I'm saying? Acquiring certain levels of education. And this is why these things don't matter to men. I don't know how many times we have to hear men say this to us before we get it. Oh, you really don't care. And I think this goes back to what I said earlier. It's just a wiring difference. Men are just way simpler creatures. They don't really care about that. When I come into and this is men, when a man comes home, what type of environment awaits him? Is it a peaceful environment? How are you educating his children? What kind of mindset are you carrying? What type of mother are you going to be? Can he come to you and lay his burdens on your lap and you walk through them with him? Can he do that? Can you help him process a tough day? These, or do you feel he's doing too much? Or, these are things that, and I'm only speaking from a woman's perspective here. I don't even want to get into, the men. I'm speaking from woman's perspective. So we need to do a better job as women to prepare for when we are chosen, and men have to do a better job also of choosing. All of us, our mindset should be on expansion. So whenever we get coupled with someone, why are you being coupled with that person? Is it because she has a big ass? You know what I'm saying? Is that's it? Because big asses don't make good mothers, right? And neither do flat asses, right? It doesn't make you a bad mother or a good mother. Why are you with him? You know what I'm saying? Are you dickmatized? Is it because how he get down in the bedroom? Is it because of how he spends on you? Because it requires more than that to build with an individual. It requires more than that to be a good father. These are things we have to do a better job at looking for in each other, so that when we do meet, if I'm preparing to be picked and you preparing, you're doing a better job at picking. When we come together, I'm talking fireworks, right? We become unstoppable, right? So I just think that a lot of us, we have to do a better job at, preparing and also choosing, because we are setting poor examples for the generations to come. And when we talk about fixing ourselves collectively, what are the people behind us, our children, what are they inherited? What are you working on as an individual to change, to make sure that doesn't continue down your family line? These are things that we have to think about. And then when we get together, these are things we're going to have to continue to work through as well. And the last thing I'm going to say, to Ray's point, there was this, I was processing this all week, because there's a viral, I guess it's viral, Judge Taylor, I think it's her name. She was talking about being a pick-me. And I watched that clip, and then it was another clip that I saw where a young lady was talking about Viola Davis' story with her and her husband, and how when she met him, she was in bad, serious debt, right? And she told him like she's jacked, okay? And he still was I still want to be with you. The same thing what Ray's saying, some men would look over it. He was one of them. And there's a very interesting conversation, because the young lady was talking about struggle love. That's a whole nother conversation, because I think that there's a race piece in there, when Black women are with Black men who might be in between blessings, it's quickly labeled struggle love, right? But if they go and they get linked with maybe the divest, it's like, ooh, he must treat her well. All the while, and that's simply because of the color of the man's skin. Right. All the while, he could be whooping her ass. But all they see is that, oh, that's a white man, so that means he's treating her better, right? What was interesting to me is that they were talking about struggle love, and they specifically said, oh, Viola Davis' husband, you know, he's stuck with her and whatever. And I love that for her. You see how different that conversation sounds? When it is a man who is working with a woman while she is working on herself, it is applauded. It is applauded. While she's in progress and he's there sticking it out, it is applauded. But then when it's the other way around, everyone is appalled by it. We got to be careful with the narratives that we are adapting. There's a lot of feminist, extreme feminist propaganda that a lot of our women have taken on, and we are regurgitating those same talking points, and we are perpetuating that same narrative over and over. There's nothing wrong with connecting with someone and you are working with them and they are working with you. There is nothing wrong with that. Our ancestors have always done that. This idea of, no, the man has to come already fully equipped and ready to take care of me, my expenses, my 5 children that don't belong to them, is ridiculous, okay? It's ridiculous. It's this thing that dehumanizes men. And as Black women, we gotta be very careful because we tend to dehumanize our men without realizing that's what they're doing. And the last thing I'm gonna say, Ray said something, he said, our bodies are made for hard work, right? That hurt my heart a little bit, Ray, because I understand what you're saying, but that is exactly how Black women treat Black men. And what I put down is, yes, your bodies are created for hard work, but your mind will completely destroy that same body. You could destroy your same body from the inside out if you don't have peace in your home because of stress. The suicide rate for Black men is extremely high and it's increasing. I mean, if we want to talk about these things, we could really talk about them. So when Black men reduce themselves to mules, to providers, and then Black women then treat them the same way. We have to change that narrative because yes, your body's made for hard work. I agree, but you are so much more than your body. And you deserve to be treated more than just your body that is meant for hard work. So I just wanted to address that.
Man, always.
I mean, I ain't got nothing to say, man.
Can we get a bomb sound effect?
Hey, man,
we need a bomb sound effect.
We gonna have to definitely have to work on that.
She's a thug, man.
She's definitely a soldier. Hey, this was a good show. It was interesting, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I thought everybody had some great points. I want to start from Rico to Doc to Ray, then to Q, then to Sweet Jones, then Hanifa, and I'll close us out. Try to keep it under 90 seconds, because you know. So 90 seconds, just your quick closing remarks. And I'm going to be the Gestapo on time today, so let's keep it under 90 seconds. Rico, your closing thoughts.
All right, sisters. You know, we love y'all, and we definitely appreciate your input. We do want to feel like we've been heard too. When we go back to the beginning of the show, we talked about submission. You know, I really ain't. I'm not really big on that word, but I am big on cooperation. I mean, it's difficult to get anything done if two people are not cooperating with one another. And if we keep on having to have a discussion about who is running the show or whatever, it's gonna be messy anyway. At some point, somebody's got to trust somebody, and I feel like. Fellas, prepare yourself to lead. Ladies, please don't accept a man if he's not in the position to lead. Please don't heap your responsibilities on a brother who cannot handle them, and don't deem him as less of a man if he cannot handle a situation that you create, because that doesn't make a person less of a man. Please understand that we're going to have some likes and some dislikes, and it doesn't make you less of a woman if something that you do is something that we dislike. And understand that some of the things that we say we dislike is because we do see the damaging side effects of what you're doing, and we care about you. And so if asked, we do tell you that, hey, we really don't care for these things. Also, your degrees, it's not that I don't not care about a woman's degrees, but please don't weaponize them in order to stop me from being able to have an opinion. Because I know this, I just went over 97 real quick though. Met a couple, and this couple, the guy was struggling with alcoholism and addiction, crack. He told me himself. All right, his wife was degreed and she had no addictions, not alcoholism. She didn't smoke or nothing. She chose, and she used her degrees to lift him up, and they had became successful to the point where she was able to use his skill sets and her degrees to help them have a multi-billion-dollar company. So she weaponized her degrees in order to help them both. She did not use them against her, and he was off of crack, let go of his alcohol, his depression, no longer homeless. I forgot to mention that he was homeless. Why she chose him, I don't know, but she used her degrees to get herself a good man, and that's what she ended up with. And may she rest in peace, because he has to now live without her. But she got herself a good husband, but she got him from the gutter.
Okay. It's a good story. Well, yeah, it's a good story. Doc, let's try to stay under the 90 seconds.
So yeah, thank you. So I'm one that is a very reflective person. And so I can tell that I said something even in seeing stuff in the chat. And I want to make sure that even from my own perspective, being an educated woman, that I do not want to not have a man. I am not one that doesn't feel like I don't need a man. I'm never going to walk around and say, I don't need men. I don't need a man. I got it. I this, I that. Because for me, that's not my case. And I think that we as women, even in our own empowerment, have to be real with ourselves about, the need of a man, and preferably for me, a Black man. So I want to make sure that's clear. I think we have to do a better job in uplifting our Black men and letting them know that they are needed. We do need y'all, and that we don't want to do this life really without you. But also asking for it to be viewed as such in a place of where we're working together. Like I stated before in the onset of this of the segment, I'm about teamwork. Teamwork is what I feel wholeheartedly is essential for, and mutual respect for any relationship to thrive. I do agree. Someone used the term picking better. I think it might have been Hanifa, it might have been Ray, I'm not sure.
It was Rico.
Picking better.
And Hanifa did too.
Okay.
Yeah. So the term picking better is certainly appropriate, right? You cannot just be out here going with anything and anybody and expecting the results and your desires to be fulfilled when you're not necessarily picking what it is that you truly seek and what you truly desire.
Okay. Good thoughts. Ray, final thoughts.
Just the state that we are in, and as Black people, relationship is, we have a lot of complaints about the opposite sex, both of us. But I think most of the issue is us Black men need to stop being pussies. I think we're pussies, and our women are acting accordingly. Women hate pussies. We act like pussies primarily because we were raised by our mothers to be pussies. I think We need to break out our pussy. Don't stop being afraid. Say what you mean what you say. Be a man. Women like men. That's all it is to it. And as much as they yell and scream to do all that, when a man comes along and he's that man, they all act like women after that. That's just, women go into their submissive state when there is a real man around, period. And because we've been taught to be pussies, our women have done what they do. And I can't blame none of that on them. They're gonna act like they act if we act like we act. We dictate their behavior. And that's where it starts, the top to the bottom. The men are at the top. When we start acting right, everybody else falls in line.
Right. Q, your thoughts?
Okay. I want to first start off by quoting Mama Joe. She's like another mother than me. She said something very profound that I use in my life, and that is, communication is just like blood to the veins. Without it, you die. That is a mantra for my life. And what I really feel needs to happen between Black men, Black women, is that we need effective and comprehensive communication. More of it. We need to sit down and have the conversations and put the highlight on the cooperation. For example, if a man, you know, if you notice that a woman, and cooperation is on both sides. So if you put submission out there and you notice that she, you know, she has a responsibility to ask, well, what do you mean? But also, as a man, if you see her responding like that, you can remember that maybe in the back of her mind, she has a negative notion, and ask, what do you think I mean? Lead with your feelings and allow those conversations to happen. Even when it comes to, Ray, I thank you so much, brother. I really do, because you came back and you told me what you meant. And what I believe you meant is you are not a fan of the styles that for you personally don't remind you of a style as something that we would wear as a natural Black woman. That's what I believe I heard you say.
That's it.
Right. So it's not that you have a problem with all protective styles. You didn't completely understand what they were, because once I explained it and you said you like this, so this is a protective style. You didn't have a comprehensive understanding of what it was. And now that you do, you were able to define, okay, I don't like this thing in particular. So it's not a blanket statement, but that came from conversation. So, you know, even when it comes to the attitude, if a woman is presenting that way, if it's the attitude, brother, it's the attitude. And as women, we have a responsibility that if he's saying that, listen, don't keep running with the narrative, oh, it's just the communication, the infinite loop, and the cooperation, that has to happen. And if both sides are not willing to come together and create that infinity loop and start passing that down, then forget about it. Let's just stop talking altogether.
No, I definitely agree. That's one of my biggest sticking points. I think that we have poor communication.
I hope Hanifa don't have to fine tune that. I tried to make sure that
she's gonna fine tune everybody.
Yeah. Sweet Jones. Final thoughts.
So I want to echo the sentiments that Rico the Plug said in the chat by thanking the men and women who showed up in our chat tonight. Mm-hmm. And just want to say, hey, we appreciate y'all, and this channel won't grow without you. Mm-hmm. So I want to give y'all a shout out. I believe in a man being the head of the household, but that does not mean I believe in domination over cooperation. All right, and that's in the household, that's in society as it relates to race, as it relates to men and women. It'd be a much better place if we could learn to cooperate with each other a little bit better. We ain't always gonna agree, but if we could just cooperate a little bit better, I think we'd be in a better space. And Hanifa, when you said you can destroy the body from the inside out, and you did that shit right there. Hey, we need that sound bite. We need that to be a sound bite, because men do need to hear that. You know what I'm saying? We've been like Genuine once said, I work my fingers to the bone. You know what I'm saying? Like that, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not, you know, I got a partner, and I'm gonna try to sum this up real quick. Got a partner about to turn 50. This motherfucker don't want to have a birthday party to celebrate 50 years of life because he don't feel like he's where he wants to be in life. Never mind the fact that he has a lot going for himself. He's amassed a lot of things. He's been successful, but he just don't feel like he's done enough and don't even want to celebrate 50 years of life. And I think what she said, he needs to hear. And, you know, and also Produce For Real said that in the chat too, that men need to hear that. And I agree wholeheartedly. So
right.
That's why that's what I'm at with.
Hanifa, bring us home.
First of all, thanks for having me again, Abe. And I appreciate everyone in the panel. It's great to see everyone again. One of the things that what's her name touched on it, Q, right? Is it Q? Mm-hmm. Yes, communication. That's kind of what I got out of this conversation, because I felt like we made some progress, because I've watched like the last 3 shows and Ray has been really getting the heat. But today I think he's brought that part full circle around the hair piece. And I mean, I don't know how anyone feels, but I feel like that was a breakthrough for me. But the funny thing about it is that after that, Abe responded like, I thought, well, that's what he said. And right away, it went off for me again, is that we don't just see differently and think differently, we hear differently. And this is why man and woman, and this is why patience in communication is so, so important. So what I got from tonight's conversation is that we have to work on our communication. And the only way to do that is to actually keep communicating and make the corrections necessary while we're communicating. Because after I leave here, or whenever I'm anywhere in any panel, I leave and I ponder what was discussed, right? And I might say, yo, he had a point. Okay, yes. I also appreciate Rico for making a statement saying, you know, just being, because this is a part of communication, being aware of when we, you know, label certain things, you know, we use certain descriptions. Crazy is the word that he used. I wrote that down, took that in, because I know Black people, when we get all emotional and stuff like that, you know, especially when I see Black men, they be like, man, you dumb as hell. You know, like this is how Black people communicate all day. And so I think that we can work on that and do a better job at that, around that as well. And we also have to remember, a lot of us are just now finding vocabulary, right, to express what we've been feeling for a long time. This is why it feels like a lot of our men are regurgitating so-called Kevin Samuels talking points, or it's that now when they hear something, they're like, yo, that's it. I've been feeling like this. Because women, we've always been doing that. A lot of our people are just now finding the vocabulary to express what they've been feeling all along. And so we really need to hear each other out. We need to be patient with each other, and we need to be loving in our communication with each other, because there's no one on this panel who have expressed hate for Black people. So if we can start there, we know that they do not mean any harm. Now we can build on that and say, okay, can you clarify what you said? Because the way you just conveyed it was a little violent. Okay. And so just kind of being aware of that and having a little bit more patience with each other. That's sort of my takeaway from tonight's conversation, is that communication, you got to work on it. And the only way to do it is to keep having the conversations and stop running away from them. Because a lot of our Black folks, we give up on each other too easily. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're like, you know what? I ain't messing with Black folks. They don't know how to talk to each other, whatever. We really have to put things in its proper context and realize that a lot of us, we are in the age now of self-expression, and that's weird and uncomfortable and awkward for a lot of us. So a lot of us end up expressing things in a way that might not be the most receptive, but the person doesn't mean harm. So a part of effective communication, Q, is asking for clarification. So that's sort of what I took away from this conversation today. I appreciate all of you guys.
All right, we appreciate you.
Word.
Thank you.
All right. I really don't have I really don't have much to add. I thought that everybody made great points. I think this was a great conversation. It was a much needed conversation, and so I will end on that note. I want to thank all of our panelists for joining us. Hanifa, Sweet Jones, Q, Ray, PeachDr, and Rico the Plug. For those of you who are still in the audience, be sure to click that like button and subscribe and share. Hit that notification bell. Until next time, be sure to keep an open mind, think for yourself, and stay lit. AK on fire.
Stay lit.
Babe, when I saw you for the first time, I knew we were destined to meet. 'Cause my knees went weak, my stomach went tight. Stay there, don't leave. Pull myself together, babe, I'm so shy. Trying to find something to say. Whatever I say needs to be right to pull you my way. Then I feel trapped, 'cause now you're everything I see. One look was all that it took. Then you left your mark on me. Now I got everything to lose, 'cause you're the only one I choose. 'Cause no one makes me feel the way you do. The way you turn me on. Kiss me, babe, I want you to. My lonely days are gonna go anywhere with you. I'll go anywhere with you. Let go of fear, make that move right now. Don't let this good thing pass you by. Give in to feelings here.